Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for those who may be tuning in for the first time out there, Brother Red Pill is with us this morning. Brother Heru Ofori-Atta. The brother has his Bachelor's of Science degree in Biology and Psychology from Tufts University, a JD from Northeastern University School of Law. He's the founder of Herbal Results Industries, where he is a creator, inventor, and manufacturer of herbal medicines that has achieved many consistent reversals of serious illnesses. So, Heru has been an early investor in Bitcoin since 2012, Tesla since 2015, and also began trading Forex in 2005. Over the years, the brother immersed himself in deep study of various trading systems and emerged with a unique, consistent, and successful trading methodology with a high percentage of profitable trades. And we're all invited to witness, mirror, observe, copy, and analyze his trades. You know, you can go get your weekly, monthly, or yearly subscription. The brokers and trading platforms that Heru presently uses is Hugo Sway, Forex Pairs, Meta Cryptocurrency, and indices. Robinhood is also used for stock options, so you're free to use your own preferred brokerage platform. Thank you, brother. It's all yours, man.
All right. Bless up everyone. Bless up Anthony. Bless up Red Pill. How y'all brothers feeling this morning?
Bless up. Peace,
That's
love, and
right.
light.
Feeling productive.
Excellent. And as we have people tuning in, we always like to give a few minutes for people to tune in. But this should be we're going to do part two because Red Pill has to leave a little bit early. And Brother Anthony, how long do you have to be on today?
Yeah, I can be on to the end today.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do two-part of this conversation so that Red Pill's audience can benefit from this conversation as well. A lot of people have been asking me about the black box approach to solving our issues globally that I've discussed. And today I'm going to have two guests on, and it's going to be a very serious conversation. What I want to do is I want to take a moment and I want to share the call in link in case people want to call in and be part of this robust conversation. There's a lot going on right now. We're going to look at the investments that we've made and what the vibes is on that. I'm going to show people in real time how to actually how you can buy a stock on mystocks.africa, and I'll show you how the stock that I'm in is doing with Clydestone, and it's doing very well. Anyone who's in Clydestone right now, you've made some money in the last week, 2 weeks. So we're going to look at that, and then we're going to look at some of the options plays that I took. Let me see. Call in here. I'm just putting that on the Facebook, and I'm going to put it on my YouTube for those who want to call in. And Brother Anthony, can you state the call-in number as well for Sankofa Radio? You there, Anthony? I don't know if you could hear me, Anthony.
Yeah, I stepped away, my brother. But say it one more time.
Yeah, could you just state in what the call-in phone number is for those people who would like to interact?
It's a pleasure in doing that. 205-417-7552. For those who did like I did, stepping away, it's 205-417-7552.
Okay, excellent. And I have just pinned the comment for you all that are interested in calling in on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, the Heru Ofori-Atta Facebook. It's there, so people can actually call in. I'm going to do it to my YouTube channel as well, and then we're going to get started, y'all. Today should be very interesting, very interesting, and I'm going to talk about really the black box, and we're going to cover some of these trades as well. So let me I just want to do a little housekeeping real quick and give you all the links to call into the show. All right, we are gonna go. We are gonna go into the topics. Everyone, just give me a quick 30 seconds. I'm just doing some housekeeping right now. Let's see. Make sure it says what it is. All right.
All right. While you do that housekeeping, Brother Red Pill, what events, man, you got going on this weekend? You got anything going on? Brother Red Pill may have stepped away as well.
Yeah, he may have stepped
Yeah, I've been
away.
preparing myself for this Invest Fest. So the campaign has been on the road to Invest Fest, which is the first weekend of August, the 8th to the 10th. Yesterday, we actually had Proclamation Day. Me and Blue Pill, along with a sister by the name of America Sutton and a brother by the name of Genius, we have a Proclamation Day in Atlanta, Georgia, South Fulton. And I'm in New York, though. I wasn't able to celebrate it out there, but I did celebrate in spirit. And brother Blue Pill and Sister America, they were able to put some festivities on and whatnot. So shout out to the A, shout out to South Fulton, shout out to our Proclamation Day. But yeah, I'm out here in New York City, just getting everything together for this Invest Fest. Bringing all of the troops together. You know, we are going to be demonstrating a high level of technological, I would say technological warfare, because that's where we are right now. You know, we up against a lot of opposition and whatnot to get our people on board and on deck with this technology and to, just carve our way into this industry, this multi-trillion-dollar industry. So that's what this appearance at the Invest Fest is going to be circled around.
Yeah, is it too late to register for the Invest Fest, and will it be virtual?
As vendors, I think it may be sold out. I'm not 100% sure, but as it's not too late to register for the Invest Fest as a as just to come as somebody who's gonna support and be there to tap into all of the information. I tell everyone it is the best $300 that you can spend to come and network and to tap into be in a room with about 30,000 investors and melanated people whose mind is on investments and whose minds are on the same thing, on the same frequency that you may be on. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you tell our folks over here, man, where you can go and register for the event?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Where can we go to register for the Invest Fest?
Oh, okay. I believe it's investfest.com.
Okay.
I'll do a double check on it, but I do believe that they have it up as investfest.com.
All right. Appreciate you, man.
All right, great. And we're happy to know that people are excited about things like InvestFest. And I'm glad that initiative is being done so that investing becomes something quite normal and common in our communities. And all basically, I thought about investing. You're like this, Red Pill. I thought about investing. You know what investing is like? Because what you're doing is you're making money in your sleep, right? You're putting your money to work for you. So in a sense, think about this, Red Pill. Investing is almost like you have your own AI agent that's going out working for you.
Yes.
Think about that, right? We have these concepts of these AI agents and this future concept of robots that'll do housework for you and do these things. Basically, it's increasing your productivity, right? So when we talk about money, people are working jobs not because they love their jobs. 99% of people are working jobs just to make money. So imagine if you had 4 versions of you with different jobs, right?
Yep.
And that income was coming to you. Well, that's what investing has been for the last thousands of years. Is that is basically your own agent, your own AI agent that you've deployed into the field that's bringing you back money, right? That's what investing
Interesting
is.
perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really what investing is. It's like having an AI agent that literally is bringing you back money while you're sleeping and resting. And so investing is very important. How can you compete with someone who's got 6 AI agents out there getting money? Right. And so
Yeah.
we've been non-competitive as a people worldwide because we haven't been really hipped on this thing called investing. Investing principles should be taught from grade school, but it's not. And there's a reason why it's not taught, because the powers that be want us to work 100 times as hard just to make a dollar compared to other people who know about investing who are working 100 times as less, right? And what do I mean by that in real numbers? We've done the dollar cost averaging calculator. So imagine you make $50,000 a year. And remember, my whole mathematical principle is that you should take 20% of what you make and invest it. So that means that you'd be investing $10,000 a year. Well, if that $10,000 10x's, right? That's $100,000. Well, typically it would have taken you 2 years to bring in $100,000. So what happens when you're getting another $100,000 through investing and not through selling your time or your labor? So essentially, investing is putting different versions of you out into the world and bringing back a bag of money, right? This is very important. You won't be able to compete with somebody who has 5 different robots of themselves earning income. Well, this is what investing really is. Okay. Um, yeah, big up Chef Camacho. I think you sent me an email yesterday, Chev. Is that you who sent me the email about the skin issue? Is that the question you're about to ask? Because I was going to answer the email after the show today. But if I think that's you, Chev, I'll go back into my email and see if that was you. But I'm sure you'll just go ahead and type the question in here. And if that was you with the person who had the skin issue, yeah, that was you. Seborrheic dermatitis. Yeah, there's a way we're going to deal with that. And that's easy. We have it. You could just get ivermectin cream. You can mix it with castor oil and you rub it in the area 2-3 times a day. Or you can get ivermectin cream and you can mix it with DMSO cream, and it should take care of the problem. And if you need it, contact us. We have the cream. I think I have it here somewhere. Yeah, we can ship it to you, Siobhan. Yeah, so don't worry about that. All right, we got you covered. All right, and we see in the morning here we've got the great Tabia Yatunde is tuned in. She made a big up in her messages. Says, Heru, you are extraordinary. Give thanks. You are extraordinary too, my good sister Tabia Yatunde. And I want to congratulate her because I saw a post that Tabia Yatunde is now a mayor of a town in Oklahoma. So we got Mayor Tabia.
Yeah.
And some of you may know Tabia.
Right.
Tabia is on herbalresults.net website testimonials.
All right.
Stage 3 endometrial uterine cancer reversal.
Right.
Using herbal results, olive leaf extract. And so people want to know more about Tabia's journey, hear more about Tabia, just go to herbalresults.net, go to testimonials, and you'll see Tabia there telling her story. Beautiful sister who cares about our people. I'm happy to know that you were tuned in, my sister. And we've got the great and powerful Kai Wilson in the house. Those of you who want to know what a go-getter is and somebody who is proactive, link up with Kai Wilson, because she's not playing any games. She's very serious. She's an early investor in Bitcoin, and I believe she's now in She's now in Clydestone as well, with the My Africa, that's mystocks.africa, which we're going to go over. And for the benefit of the people listening right now, before we get into the black box situation, because Red Pill has to leave at the top of the hour, so we want to get all the Red Pill listeners to tap into what we're doing. We're going to do a part 2 as well for the Know the Ledge folks as well, because I think Red Pill will have to tap out unless people want to, migrate over to the Facebook or the YouTube that we have running on Sankofa. We can continue the conversation. But yes, Kai Wilson says Clydestone is up today. Yes, Clydestone is up every day. We everyone's laughing. And here we go. Tranquil Moon says, got my Clydestone last week. Listen, Brother Anthony, how do you feel about how we have transformed the conversation?
Man,
where people are actually investing in Africa, not because of some type of romantic feelings, but seeing it is actually a financial benefit to invest in Africa. This is changing the conversation. How do you feel about how we've been able to pull this off?
Not only that, just got a call yesterday from a brother, listening to the program, investing, but going to reside on the continent. So you're changing the minds of our people, brother. Hey, can we do this? We got a caller on. Can we take a caller real quick?
Yeah, we can.
Hey, caller, you on with Brother Heru and Brother Red Pill? Are you there? Can you hear her fine, everyone?
No, can I hear her?
All right. Go ahead and talk a little louder, sister.
Okay, Brother Heru.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, morning. How you doing? This is Siobhan from St. Croix, your friend. I spoke to you all the time.
Siobhan, bless up from St. Croix. Big up St. Croix, Red Pill got roots in St. Croix too. So, I'm sure he'd love to big you up as well. Big up all the people in St. Croix. VI Massive, same way,
So I've been following you for a long time. I'm one of your investors and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get into the mystocks.africa.
Mm-hmm.
I did my account and everything. I'm alive. But I've been trying to transfer some funds in there for like 2 weeks now.
Okay, you've asked the right question. I'm about to walk you through it right now, Siobhan. I'm about to walk the audience through putting money in your account and buying the stock live right now.
Okay, because I know that you did that 2 weeks ago through Web3 and the crypto and crypto.com. And I tried that and it keeps telling me that my code cannot be recognized. So I'm
Okay, don't worry. I'm gonna walk you through it right now, okay?
Okay. Well,
All right. So your call was very timely because I'm gonna walk everyone through it right now and show you how easy it is to do it. Okay?
Have a good day.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, sister.
All right, y'all. So yeah, that's a call from St. Croix. And just please know that we have listeners from all over the world. People contact me. There was actually a sister in China. I think it's a sister from Louisiana who's doing some type of not-for-profit work in China contacted me saying she watches the show. We've got people in Australia watching. We've got people in Cambodia watching. We've got people in Lagos watching. Big up the Lagos Massive, same way. Folks in Liberia, Sierra Leone. We've got folks in, of course, Alabama, folks in New York City, folks in London, folks in Paris. We're worldwide and we're bringing value to the people. So without further ado, I'm gonna walk y'all through how you can easily fund your mystocks.africa account. And well, let's just do this first. Why would you want to fund the account? Okay. Why would it be important to Kenya is in the house, Truth Seeker. Big up Kenya. Is that Nairobi, Arusha? Where are you at in Kenya? Diani Beach, you know what I'm saying? That's one of my destinations, hopefully this year, to go to Diani Beach, Kenya. I actually want to put up a roots reggae restaurant, you know what I mean, with live performances in Diani Beach. That's one of my bucket list items to do with my life is to actually set up a place in Diani, right on what they call the Indian Ocean, which we renamed the African Ocean. Beautiful waters there, and so we're looking to do that. It's not too far from Mombasa, you know. Oh, you in Lamu? Okay, big up the Lamu, massive man. Lamu is also a beautiful place, man. I know in Lamu, life is just laid back. That you know, a lot of people riding donkeys to get to place. That's how life is just laid back in Lamu, and beautiful beaches there as well. So big up Lamu, massive. You know, Tennessee is in the house in the form of Twyla. Big up Twyla. You know, we got listeners all over. So let's get into how you can easily fund your MyStocks.Africa and why you want to do that in the first place. So check this out, y'all. MyStocks.Africa. You all are able to see the screen. Can you let me know, Brother Anthony Red Pill, if you can see screen?
Yeah, we got good morning Heru right there.
All right, there we go. So check this out, y'all. I'm only in one stock right now, which is, and I'm dollar cost averaging. So you see my levels, and you see right now I'm at a 15% increase in my money.
Right.
So I've made $100 by doing nothing but just investing within the last week or two, right? And it's going to be increasing as every week I'm putting money into the account. So check this out. We're going to go into, what am I in? I'm into Clydestone. So I'm in Clydestone, and we're just going to look at the Clydestone chart. Why am I in Clydestone? Because it's the best performing stock for the last 365 days on MyStock.Africa. It just happens to be in Ghana. And there are other stocks too. There's some Nigerian stocks I'm going to be looking at that we'll talk about next week. But look at the chart. Up and away. Everyone can see that with Clydestone.
Yeah, up and away for sure.
Yeah, up and away. That's it right there. Look at that. Up and away, y'all. Okay, but look at the price. The stock price is 37 cents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got a lot of upside. And Ghana money, Ghana cedis is, which is the form of the dollar in Ghana. It's called Ghana cedis. It's $4.38. 4.38 Ghana cedis, but in terms of US dollars, it's 37 cents. Okay, so this is what's important for y'all to look at. In 1 year, it's gone up 4,700%, which is a 48x return. That means that if you put $10,000 in a year ago, you'd have $480,000 today. Okay, you'd be having close to $500,000 if you started this a year ago and you front-ended $10,000. Okay, in the last 3 years, you're looking at 14,500%, which is 146x. Okay, so in the last 3 years, you'd have made 146 times your money. $10,000 would be $1.4 million. Okay, $10,000 3 years ago would be $1.4 million. This is just what it is. Okay, and so we want to get in on this action. What is Clydestone? Where they're transforming payment systems in Ghana and West Africa. So this is a big deal, right? So they're always making money because they're getting pieces of transactions because they're handling the transactions in a smooth way in West Africa. Okay, so this is very, very serious. So what do? We say we want to get into this. So what happens is that you have to go ahead and buy. So what we're going to do is we're going to fund the account. How are we going to fund the account? Well, when you go to wallet, you have three choices to fund your account. Okay, you go to deposit, and then you will have the option through your bank, which takes a long time, by the way. It takes like, I think, a week or two to get the money wired from the bank to appear. Mobile money, that's more regional. The credit card, but they take 3.5%. But Web3 is free. So we want to do Web3 and find out what that means. But what Web3 just means, cryptocurrency stablecoin. Question is, how do you get the cryptocurrency stablecoin? Well, it turns out that you can go on Robinhood and buy cryptocurrency stablecoin immediately. So Can everyone see my Robinhood? Oh no, here it is. Here's the Robinhood page.
Yep.
Can you see it?
We got it. Intel.
Okay. What we're going to do is just make sure that you have money in your account, in your Robinhood. You're going to link it to your bank account. Your debit card is going to be automatic. A debit card deposit is going to be automatic. You just go ahead and do that. And then you're going to go to USDC. Does everyone see USDC? It's a stable coin. It's just pegged with the US dollar. So it's always going to be $1. Okay. And what are we going to do? We're going to buy USDC. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to buy $100 of USDC. Okay. And right there, we're going to go review order. Oh, wait, hold on. I'd have to draw. Let's do $50 because I'd have to take it from, I'm just going to take from the money I already have there available, and I can add more always. So we just do $50, the same thing, same concept. Go right here, review order. And then I'm going to scroll down to submit buy. Done. Okay. I now have $50. UCC says $50.96 in USDC. Does everyone see that?
Got it.
Okay. Now, what's the next step? The next step is I want to send the USDC to my stocks.africa account. How do I do that? Well, you need to copy the address, which they have right here. Do you see right here? This is my stocks.africa. You will see this right here. Under it is also the link for the address to deposit the money. Watch this. You just hit copy. It says copied. Oh no, sorry. You all didn't see that. All right, here it is. On the deposit, you hit Web3 and then you will see the QR code. You all can see it now?
Yeah, we got the QR code.
Okay, but below it, it has the actual address. You copy that address. Okay, and then you go back to Robinhood because you have the money now. It says $50. And then you're going to hit this arrow here from Robinhood, and we're going to go send and receive. Do you see that? It says send and receive.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so people can see better. All right. You're going to hit send and receive, and then use right here is the send and receive. Right there. Yes, it was on market order, but you're going to click send and receive. And then you're going to, on that send and receive, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see it. And you see where it says amount, we're going to do 50. And we're going to do send to, and we're going to paste the address that we copied. Okay. And then continue. All right. To send it, you're always going to pick Ethereum network. Don't use any other network. Ethereum network. Okay. So you click that. And then we are going to hit review. Protect yourself. Yes. Accept and continue. And then we're going to hit submit. You click that. Do you see where it says submit? I know it's a little small, but you all can see it. That green button, submit, submit. Okay. And it has sent me a notification on my app just confirming that I am trying to make this transaction. And I got it on my phone and I'm going to click yes, it's me. Okay. It says we recognize this device. It is now sending the money. Now, what's going to happen is I will go here to my stocks.africa and it will give me an update on the transaction. So what we'll go is we go to dashboard, and it's going to tell me, you see where it says cash here? It says 33 cents invested, $767. I'll get an update here. Or you can go to wallet, and you see where it says US wallet, it says 33 cents. When the money has arrived, it is now 9:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. At this 33 cents, we will see when it updates to $50. We'll see how long it takes to do that. It should be a few minutes. When that's available, we go ahead and we buy more stock. We rinse and repeat. Okay, so we'll just wait for that to update. But that's it right there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of these options that I did yesterday. So those people who are the subscribers to herutrades.com, you would have gotten an email of some options plays that I made yesterday. So what did I make? I did Intel, and we're going to share this tab here, and we're going to go to the chart. Why did I do Intel? Because of what the chart is telling me. What's the chart telling me? We go to the yearly look, and we go to the weekly interval. What are we seeing? What are you noticing? As this is rising, what is it doing? Remember, it's always like a wave. Nothing just rises, right? It goes up and down, right? What are you noticing? These are EMAs. So these lines are what they call EMAs, exponential moving averages. And what you'll find in trading is that price, which is these candlesticks, like to bounce off of EMAs. And so we look at the history of Intel, and what do we see on the weekly chart? It likes to bounce off of this pink EMA. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah.
You see how price likes to bounce off this pink EMA? Well, what do we have this week? Price came off of the EMA. So now we have the trampoline effect. So what did I do? Remember, the first principles thinking is buy low, sell high. So here's the low. Look at the stochastic low is here. Again, every time it hits that stochastic low, what happens? It's a trampoline. Well, we're at stochastic low and we're at the TDI low. Okay, which is the RSI relative strength index, plus coming off of what we call the 22 EMA, bounce, boom. So I hit it with an option. The other option that I did was yesterday, Microsoft. Why did I do Microsoft? I did Microsoft because if you look at the Microsoft chart, we start to see something very interesting. So in trading, you're always looking for structures, M's and W's. M's is when something is going down like this, and M, and a W is when something is going up. What do we have here? What does this look like to y'all? The beginning of a W. And this is the 1 year view. What happened? We're at the lows again. Lows. Look at this W forming off of the weekly chart. Look. Now, how does Microsoft behave when it hits this white line?
Yeah, 1 second, please.
In trading, the white line is called the mayonnaise. Okay, these are just little slang terms in trading. But I'm going to show you, notice the behavior of Microsoft when it hits the white line. What happens? It's like a trampoline. Do you see it? See here? See here? See here. These are the observations that people who trade and do technical analysis would be seeing. Every time, you see that? This is from 2015. Okay? If you'd have gotten to this in 2015, you could still be in this damn trade. Because what happened? It hit the white line, gave you the RSI low, gave you the stochastic low, and here we are. Okay, it goes up. I'm giving y'all literally the gems right now. Okay? Last time it hit the mayonnaise was December 22 here. So we went from 2015 to 2022. That's 7 years gap. And then the next time it hit was 2025. Well, it hit again. What did I do? I hit a buy on the options, and I'm looking to make a lot of money going up. You just have to know what you're looking for.
All right,
Those
brother,
people-
stay right there.
Yeah.
Stay right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hate to interrupt, but look, let's go to a caller. Black Ice well, he may have a question about this particular item. Black Ice, you there, my brother?
Yes, I am. Thank you. First off, brother Heru, we couldn't see the chart when you were
Oh, you know what? Sorry, y'all. Sorry. You all were looking at the wrong chart. Here it is. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. Let me go back and point out what I'm telling y'all to look at. Thank you for pointing that out, caller. Let me just cover that real quick again. Thank you, because I'm not looking at the comments while I'm doing this. All right. I'm going to reiterate what I said.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to reiterate it. You all can see the chart with the white line here?
Yep.
Okay. This is the weekly time frame, which is a long-term time frame, which is what you want to use to trade because it's less noise. When you're doing the 1 hour, 15-minute, all of that, there's too much volatility, and we're into predicting movement. And so the more volatility, the less predictability. So you want to go to the higher time frames where there's less volatility, which means more predictability. This is just a first principles approach to doing this. Okay. Now,
all right.
What do we notice?
Before you move further, let's see if the brother got a follow-up. Brother Ice, Black Ice, you got a follow-up? You got a question for Brother Heru?
What I wanted to know is, are you able to fund the account, say, using a crypto bank like Aave.com, other than Robinhood?
Yes, anywhere where you can get USDC and send it through the Ethereum network, you can use it. You can use crypto.com, you can use Binance, you can use Coinbase, you can use any exchange where you can exchange dollars for USDC or USDT, which is the USD stable coins. You can then send it to mystocks.africa. You do not need to use Robinhood. It's just really easy to use Robinhood, extremely easy. Okay. All right.
Shout out to Red and KTO family.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
All right. He said shout out to the Red and the KTO family.
Okay. All right. So let me go back to what I was saying because you all weren't able to see the screen. I was referring. You can see it now. Okay. What do we notice? We notice that the behavior of Microsoft is as follows. Every time, look at Microsoft just going up, up, up. And every time it hits this white line, which is called the mayonnaise, what happens? This is the trampoline effect. You see it? Look at it. Everyone see it? Are you able to see this? Red Pill, are you able to see this, Brother Anthony?
Yes, we got it. Trampoline.
All right. So here, this was 2013 when it did that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got it on this trade, you could still be in it. In terms of if you just bought stock, this is your low point and you bounce off. And it coincides with the RSI low and the stochastic low. Okay? When's the next time it did that? Here. This was 2015. Corresponds with the lows. Again, this is the trampoline effect. We're going to look for another bounce off of what they call the Mayo, which is the white line right here. This was in 2022. So this was a good time to buy because this is the trampoline effect. Right. You buy low, sell high. Okay? This is the number one principle that does not go away. First principle thinking when it comes to anything financial: buy low, sell high. I don't care if you're in a communist economy, a capitalist economy, socialist economy, quasi-capitalist, crony capitalist, whatever it is, whatever financial system you are in is always the same: buy low, sell high. So here's the lows. So what I'm telling you is that whenever Microsoft candles, which is the price, hits the mayonnaise, that's your low. So this is in 2022. You could have gotten to this trade and still been in this trade. Last time it did it again was 2025 April. We are at that point again, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I did an option on this.
Right.
Okay. And that's why all of my subscribers got that notice yesterday, because not only is it coming off of it, it's forming a W off of the Mayo, which is a strong indication of it going up. Okay, every single time Microsoft hits this white line, it bounces up like a trampoline, and this is where we did our option, and we're looking to make a lot of money going up. And my expiration date is in January. It's in December, or it's in July sometime. Okay, so I've got a year, okay, before this expires. So all I'm going to do is just rake up money in the next year to come and just sit down. Price may go down, but eventually it's just going to bounce back up. And we see the same thing for Intel that I got into yesterday. So I showed you the bounce off points. Intel's bounce off points is what I showed you all, the pink line, which is known as the 22. I think we have our callers coming in as we go to the black box. But I want to show you all these investments and what it's looking like, okay? And why I do what I do and what my approach is. Look what happened. Every single time Intel hits this pink line, which is the 22 EMA, that is your bounce off point. One time was September 15, 2025. Another time was November 17, 2025. Another time was here, March 30th, recently this year. And then now we're on that pink line again. And then you see this green going up, which is showing that this is literally the trampoline effect. So I got into an option, and we're looking to make money this way. Okay. And you see the lows here. All right. So that's how I do what I do. Now, let's go to mystocks.africa. Share this tab instead. What do you all see? The $50 has arrived in my wallet. Can you all see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now that the $50 is in my wallet, we are going to go to Clydestone. And we are going to buy $50 worth of Clydestone stock. So you go to Clydestone, scroll down, and it's going to say buy. And what do I want? I want 100% of whatever I have available, which is that $50, okay? And so you just put in the amount of shares, and what it comes to, you could just put in 25% of what you've got, 50, 75, 100. I put in 100, so I just funded it with the $50, right? And, you know, I'll be doing a little bit more today, but this is just an example. So I hit buy. And when I hit buy, Clydestone is going to tell me the order is in queue. Hold on 1 second. I'm having a problem with Clydestone and this buy button. But that's how it works. I don't know if Clydestone is if investments. All right, let's try it again. Clydestone, buy. Let's see. I think it went through. Yeah, it went through. It just didn't tell me it went through. Oh no, there it is. 100%. You hit the buy, and then it'll execute the order, and then that's it, y'all. Let's try something. Maybe this. Yeah. Right now, the buy button is frozen. We'll give it a few more minutes. Okay, buy shares. That's it there. Maybe I can hit that one. Let's go 100% again. I usually would hit that button, but let's do that. Buy. Okay, there we go. You see that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, we're going to shrink that a little bit. Execute buy. And that's it. It says order queued. I just bought 132 shares of Clydestone for $50. Okay?
Right.
All right. And that's it. And then it just adds up. And then you start looking at your portfolio. And this is what the portfolio looks like. Okay. It tells you how much is invested. I invested $666 and I'm at $767. So I've made $100 profit in the last week. Okay? Doing nothing.
Mhm.
Okay? And this is what we're going to keep doing. All right? So I've made 15% on my money in 1 week or 2 weeks. Compare that to Bank of America, where you're making 0.01% of your money. Okay? In 1 year. So in 2 weeks, you've seen me make 15% on my money. Okay? So this is very important that you all saw that. Okay, now let's get into our conversation, because we've got some very serious brothers on right now. We've got Amobi. We're going to add Amobi, and we're going to add Brother Ken Eccles. We've got Brother Ken Eccles on. Now, why I got these brothers on? All right, Brother Amobi, Brother Ken. Ken, how are you?
I'm great, brother. Greetings. How you
All
doing?
right. Brother Amobi. All right. We got the mad scientists in the house. Both of them. The mad scientist without hair and the mad scientist with hair.
I said, I gain on, you know what? Let me just lay down.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. So here's what we're doing, y'all. We're gonna have this conversation about the black box, and this is why I have these two gentlemen on. These two gentlemen are some of the smartest human beings that I know, and they're engineers. Okay, and we're gonna get into their profile and why do I have engineers on. All right, what you should know is that China's rise was due to engineers. The people who run China, in terms of the presidents of China for the last couple decades, and the people who are the politicians of China, are all engineers. Okay? And that's why China looks like how it does and how it's been able to become a superpower. Most of us tuned in are old enough to remember when Chinese goods were you bought Chinese goods, you always assumed that they were inferior and they were going to break down, right? That was nothing short than 30 years ago. Well, in 2026, China is the center for manufacturing in the world, and your iPhones are manufactured in China. Chinese manufacturing, engineering, technology is seen as the standard for the world. And basically what they were doing is they were at the scrimmage stage. They were basically saying, we're going to have to become a serious nation of people, because the Chinese never forgot about the Opium Wars. The Opium Wars was when Britain started pumping opium into China in exchange for gold, because they were at a gold deficit, because they were trading gold for tea, and the Chinese didn't accept anything but gold. So what happened was Britain started dumping opium in exchange for gold into China, and a boat was caught off of the coast of China full of opium from Britain. The Chinese seized the boat and destroyed the boat, and the British took that as an act of war, and that's how the Opium War started. Well, what did that result in? The British actually winning and taking over the port of Hong Kong, where the British control Hong Kong for 100 years. In the time they control Hong Kong for 100 years, it's created problems because the people of Hong Kong and China believe that they are different people than the people of China, because they have European first names and they've adopted Christianity, right? Because that's what the Europeans brought to them. And so the Chinese are having problems with the people of Hong Kong, who think that they're separate people, but they're Chinese people with just British first names, right? Sound familiar? So what happened was that the Chinese took stock and realized that, listen, how did we let a little island nation beat a big country like China? And what happened was that they realized that it was all about technological superiority. So technological superiority is what runs the day, y'all. And so what the Chinese decided to do is, we're going to become a technological superpower, so this can never happen to us again. So the Chinese began becoming masters in science, math, engineering, and technology. And this is where we are now, where the United States can't do to China what it can do to everyone else, right? Is because it's about technological superiority. Why is this conversation happening, and why are we talking about it? Well, in our history, when we look at our history, and because I've traveled all around the world and seen different places, where our people live. The only place I haven't been where there's a major black population is Brazil, right? Brazil is the second most populous country of black folks in the world, outside of the African continent, right? So, living in the Caribbean, living in Africa, living in America, you get to see what's going on everywhere we are. Where the world refers to us as black folks, we're going to use the term black people. And actually, we refer to ourselves as black people in ancient Kemet, land of the blacks. It wasn't just the black soil, it was actually land of the blacks. And in Ghana, when we don't make distinctions on people's national boundaries, we call ourselves Obibi-4 or Obibini, which is black people, right? So you might refer to someone as Ashanti, you might refer to someone as Igbo, or someone as Nigerian. When we're talking about black people, in Ghana, we have a term for it, which is Obibini or Obibi-4. Okay, now, so we refer to ourselves as black even before white folks came around, Europeans came around. And next week, we're going to have Brother Obadale Cambone on, and he's going to talk about the work that he's doing in terms of engineering and linguistics, linguistic engineering. Now, when I look at our condition worldwide, you have what you call the black box. What is the black box? I want you all to listen very closely because I've talked about the black box. Well, the black box, this is using what we call first principles thinking to solve problems, right? I always talk about first principles thinking. We use first principles thinking for trading. We use first principles thinking for engineering problems. We use first principles thinking for financial problems, scientific problems. The reason why I've been able to have the success in cancer and the success in high blood pressure, diabetes, which y'all saw on Monday when someone called in with a diabetes reversal testimonial. The reason why we've been successful is because I'm using a first principles approach to health. Well, when it comes to our history, when you use a first principles approach, you are pushed into a corner to have to think about the black box. What is the black box? Whenever a plane crashes, the only thing that survives is a device called the black box. Mm-hmm. And that black box has what they call telemetry data. It tells you why, how, and when the plane failed and the plane crashed. But the retrieval of the black box is not just an academic exercise. It is not just an exercise to get the black box to find out what happened and how it crashed. The goal of retrieving the black box is not only to find out how and why it crashed, but to make sure that the plane never crashes again. This is key. You want to make sure that a plane never crashes again, so you discover what you call the limiting factors that kept that plane from flying in the sky. And usually when we talk about first principles thinking, remember that first principles thinking asks you to do two things: define what are the immutable laws and immutable truths of a problem set, and two, to discover what are the limiting factors in the problem set. And when you do this, you're going to outperform everyone else. So when we talk about our history, as if our people, black folks worldwide, was an airplane, right? What caused our black box to fail? What caused our black box? What caused our airplane to crash? This is a question you'd have to ask. What are the two greatest limiting factors in the history of black folks that caused us to be colonized, enslaved, renamed, controlled, imprisoned, murdered, genocided, all of that? What are the two limiting factors of our history? And so I'm going to ask that of Brother Anthony and Brother Red Pill. Let's start with Brother Red Pill. Brother Red Pill, if you were to identify two limiting factors for our people historically, in other words, what caused us to fall, our plane to crash, I'm talking about globally, what are the two things that you would say they are?
I would say lack of resources.
Okay, what's the other thing?
And I would say the purposeful, the system that was created and the structure that was created that basically blocked us out of proper information. We were running on faulty systems, sort of like malware, based off of the falsehoods that were taught to us. That kind of like keeps us in this perpetual loop of confusion and dysfunction.
Okay, so you're saying lack of resources and bad teaching, basically.
Yes.
Okay, and Brother Anthony, what would you say if you
I
had
say
to
that big.
identify two things?
Well, the big one is the teaching aspect, which is education of your own, and and I would say along with the teaching and the education aspect of it, um, I think that's the biggest one, man. I can't think of a second one.
Okay, so the teaching aspect. So then, when we ask that question, and like, what would be taught, right? Um, Survival skills, skills to actually thrive, and so forth and so on, right? But
I would
what
say
I'm
dollar
going
cost average.
to
It's the lack of financial
Mhm.
education that has stifled us, I feel. And when we look further back, it seems as if some of our ancestors had that education because the moves that they were making with purchasing land, knowing how to cultivate land, we were dealing with stocks and things of that nature in the 1800s. But somehow, some way, that education stopped.
Well, we had Black Wall Street, which was named Little Africa, right? And folks were
Right,
investing and whatever. But what happened? We got bombed.
right.
Okay, so listen. I want this happened with Move. Is in Philadelphia, we got bombed, right? In in uh, in other parts of the world, we were also bombed, right? We were attacked, right? Slavery couldn't have happened without a military incursion into Africa, right? Okay, so here I'm going to just break it down for everyone, and I'm sure no one will agree. And this is why these two gentlemen are on, because I want to get to the point where I stop talking, where I let these two brothers talk, because you all need to hear from these two brothers, and there's a reason why. All right. So when I look at the black box approach to, some people are saying religion in an army, okay, we're going to have all types of people saying all different types of things, but notice this: when you ask this question of black folks who care, because there's some black folks who don't care. This is not the conversation for black folks who don't care. This is for those of us who actually care about our people globally and we want to solve the problem, right? There's some of us who only care about a certain section of us, right? So there's some of us who may be in Ghana who only care about their particular ethnic group or their tribe, right? We've seen that go on in South Africa right now. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who actually give a damn about us globally, right? Those are the Marcus Garveys, the Malcolm X's, those types of people who actually are looking for a global solution because they know that this is a global problem. Everywhere you see black folks, the problem is really the same, right? Now, when I look at the black box of what caused us to crash, I'm going to state two things. And what's going to happen is that these two things are going to be the main umbrellas that we're working under. And I don't think any of you all would disagree with me, because everything that you stated is going to fall under one of these two things. Okay, so when I'm talking about the conquering of, because remember, there's books that people should read. You should read Now Valley Contributions to Civilization by Anthony Browder. And you should read The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams, and you should read The Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. Why? Because Now Valley Contributions to Civilization, Brother Anthony's holding it up. Yes. Now Valley Contributions to Civilization is telling us what we had when we were at our best and when we were unmolested and unencumbered as a people, right? What we can build. We start building large edifices and employing serious forms of geometry, mathematics to show how advanced we are. As a matter of fact, ancient Kemet is known as the greatest techno-complex civilization that existed. And it is the only group of people who has a field of study named after it. It's called Egyptology. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Right.
There is no Americology, there is no Europology, there's no Franceology, there's no Englishology, there's no Germanology. You have Egyptology. Why? Well, because we built on such a grand scale, and I say we because it's been proven that the ancient Egyptian, the Kemetic people were black people through linguistic analysis, through the work of Cheikh Anta Diop when he took the skin from the pharaohs and he had the leucoderm, melanoderm test, his UNESCO conference showing that the ancient Kemetic language is a Bantu language. I mean, he breaks it all down, okay? Theophilo Benga breaks it all down. We have the drawings on the walls of black folks, all that. Anyway, the question then would become, okay, this is what we contributed, but then how did we fall, right? How did we lose it? So Destruction of Black Civilization attempts to talk about it. And then Marcus Garvey's Philosophies and Opinions is a book that's talking about how we get it back, right? So now Valid Contribution to Civilization, what we had, Destruction of Black Civilization, how we lost it, and then Marcus Garvey is talking about how we get it back. All right, but here's the deal. When you look at a first principles approach, we distill everything down to its most common denominator, okay? So you don't have to waste time talking about other ancillary things. So when you distill it to its most common denominators, what the black box would tell you about us and what happened to us is two things, two deficiencies. One, when Europeans came to attack us, and please understand it wasn't always like this, with the Arabs and Europeans, you could read a book called The Cultural Unity of Black Africa by Sheikh Anta Diop, and he has a letter that the Pharaoh of Egypt wrote to the king of the Persians. And he says, basically, if you dare to think to invade us, you need to think twice, because he literally says this, until your Persian soldiers can pull a bow with the efficiency and the strength of the Nubian and the Kemetic soldiers, please do not dare to attack our lands, which is the lands of milk and honey, and also pray to your gods that we do not covet other lands. This is literally what the Pharaoh of Egypt told the king of Persia. What he was saying was that we're so advanced and we're so strong that don't even think about attacking our land, because we know that our land has been cultivated, that it's a very rich land, and you are coveting our land. We do not covet your land because we look at it as trash. We're happy here and we're not trying to invade other places, but if you dare to invade us, you're going to meet the bow. Okay? Because there was a certain type of Nubian, a certain type of Kemetic bow that was very powerful, which was a projectile. Okay, now, when we looked at that, we were able to defend ourselves because we had a high level of technology for warfare in terms of projectiles. We just had the most modern bows and the most efficient bows for warfare. Okay, time goes on and we end up losing our dynasties, and what happened? Alexander comes in, what they call Alexander the Great. You also have the Hyksos, all of this. So we start getting depleted as a people. All right. Then you have what they call the transatlantic slave trade, where Europeans are building forts and coming in, and they're getting other black, what they call, let's just use nations or tribes that have been fighting against each other, right, for centuries, to actually exploit that division. And so we start doing business with the Europeans, where there are certain ethnic groups, because of one ethnic group attacking them, starts to side with the Europeans and for protection, because the Europeans have guns. They have another form of a projectile that is more powerful and more efficient and more game-changing than the arrows and the spears that we have, the projectiles that we have in the form of a gun. But what happened was, we saw how powerful the gun was. We did not have in our cultural, spiritual system a solution that says that we are going to take these people's guns, their technology, and we're going to reverse engineer it, and we're going to improve upon it. But instead, what we did, and we have not been good to each other. Okay? This is the thing. We have not been good to each other. And we still see it today. Whether you're in America and you see Crips and Bloods, or you see East Coast, West Coast, you see Yoruba and Igbo, you see Ashantis and other groups, whatever, and now you're seeing Zulus and Hausas in South Africa. We haven't been good to each other, because in our cultural, spiritual frameworks, we did not have a spirituality that addresses the black box problem. So here's the point that I'm making before I have the brothers take the floor. The two biggest limitations for us in our history that caused the plane to crash is, one, lack of technological superiority over our enemies. Okay? Because it's their technology. The Europeans are not physically stronger than us. They're not braver than us. None of that. But they came in with better technology and they used it. The second limiting factor of Black history worldwide is a lack of unity. Okay? The lack of unity is so serious that they exploited it. And I'm talking about on the continent, there was a lack of unity. And then when you get to America, you get to Jamaica, you get to Haiti, there was lack of unity, because when you start looking at Nat Turner, Gabriel Prosser, you start looking at Denmark, VC, their slave revolts, it failed because of a lack of unity, because you had certain Black folks who didn't feel like they wanted to belong to the other enslaved Black folks and went to massa. Okay? And this happened on the continent. So the treachery that we've had towards each other, the lack of unity that we've had towards each other, is not geographically specific. It is found everywhere where we are. We find distinctions amongst ourselves and we end up becoming weaker. The division makes us weaker. Whether you're divided because you're Yoruba versus Igbo, or you're divided Hausa versus whatever, this division has always been used by outsiders to capitalize on us. Now, is unity the only thing that's necessary? No. Unity is not the only thing, because you can be unified, but if you don't have weapons that can match their guns or improve upon their guns, we'll just die in unity. We'll die together, right? We'll just all die together because we have failed to get into the conversation and the tradition of where we used to be as a techno-complex civilization with the greatest technologies in the world. You couldn't build a pyramid if you didn't have the greatest technologies in the world. We've gotten away from that. We're not who we used to be, okay? So the point of the matter is that you can be unified, but if you don't have the technology and you're technologically weak, you will die together. You can have the technology, you could have had better guns than Europeans, but if we're not unified, we're gonna turn the guns on each other and kill each other. So when we talk about distilling the two biggest problems, the two biggest limiting factors for our rise as a people, the plane to keep flying, it is easily seen that it was a lack of technological superiority and a lack of unity. These two things. And therefore, it has to be solved for. There is no activity that Black folks are going to do that is going to move the needle in terms of our progress in the world, like how China made its progress in the world. It has to be done with those two things, because that's what the black box is telling us. It's telling us this is why our plane crashed. And not only this is why it crashed, this is why it keeps crashing. Because we keep engaging in those two behaviors that limited us. We keep engaging in separation and division. And remember, as a mathematical concept, division seeks to go to zero. Multiplication seeks to go to infinity. So on the scoreboard, we're scoring zero because we're always focused on division. Any way that we can divide ourselves, you can see it in the Willie Lynch letters. We want to divide ourselves by which plantations we were on. We want to divide ourselves by who colonized us. I remember when I was in college, there was a sister who was Haitian, and you know, she felt like Haitians were always made fun of and this and that. And her retort was, well, we Haitians, at least we were colonized by the French and not the British. So she thought that it was better to be colonized by the French. You see this type of foolish division? Oh, I was colonized by the French, so my colonizer was better than you. My enslaver was better than you. And this is what we had in terms of plantation politics. Oh, my master is better than your master, right? My country is better than your country. My village is better than your village. These are the conversations that we've been having with each other, which exacerbates the black box identification of those two things. Also, we've done everything from marching to protesting to even fighting. We've had skirmishes and fought and lost wars. We've lost battles in America. We've lost them in the Caribbean. We've lost them in the South America. We've lost battles on the continent because we have refused. We have refused to focus on technological mastery, scientific, mathematical, and engineering mastery as a people. Okay? This is why we are being downpressed. The exploitation of our refusal, right? We can focus on athletics, music, entertainment, but Are we having parties for people when they graduate from university with an engineering degree? No, we're having parties for people when they get out of jail. Welcome home. We're celebrating things that don't matter in terms of what the black box is telling us. We are not telling our children that the most important thing that you could become is an engineer. Why? Because the engineer is the person who builds things. The engineer is responsible for your roads. The engineer is responsible for your cars. The engineer is responsible for your airplanes. The engineer is responsible for your defense system. The engineer is responsible for the electricity in your house. Okay? The engineer must be exalted in our culture. But how do you get people to actually behave? Okay. Well, black folks and other people, but black folks specifically, have a penchant for religion and spirituality. We are addicted to religion and spirituality as a people. And this is worldwide. And as a matter of fact, in the Caribbean and Africa, they say that in the Caribbean and Africa, there are more churches in the world per square mile than any other places in the world. In the Caribbean and Africa, we love religion more than the people who gave us the religions. There's something about us where we just are addicted to religion and spirituality. Okay, I've stayed away from religion and spirituality talk because I've just seen it that if you ask 100 people what is spirituality, you get 100 different definitions, and it's something that divides people and causes some type of separation. So I've always stayed away from public religious conversations. I've seen the public religious debates. They don't go anywhere. Why? Because religion is not based on logic. It's based on emotion, right? And most people's adherence to the religion is just based on the religion that their colonizer or their enslaver gave them, right? So in terms of like, look at Africa, look at the Caribbean. If the white slave masters would have been Buddhist, we would be Buddhist and defend Buddhism, right? It's just what it is. These are just facts. So the bottom line is this. I don't talk religion. I don't try to talk people out of spirituality or whatever people want to believe they think is making them a better person. Because at the end of the day, to me, the most famous quote, my favorite quote is a quote by the sister Zora Neale Hurston. Zora Neale Hurston's quote is this, and you all should remember it and listen very carefully. She says, he who has created the idols never worships them, however tenderly he may have molded the clay. You cannot have knowledge and worship at the same time. Mystery is the essence of divinity. Gods must keep their distances from men. Listen to the first line, she says. He who has created the idols never worships them, however tenderly he may have molded the clay. So the people who came up with these religious mythologies, they don't worship these idols. They don't worship these. It's for you to worship because it's about control mechanisms. Just like, I'll give you an example, like the guy who created the Backstreet Boys, the singing group. And when they would go into the mall, all the girls would go crazy and they're crying. And the guy who created the Backstreet Boys does not go crazy and crying when he saw the Backstreet Boys. He who creates the idols never worships them, however tenderly he may have molded the clay. Okay? So the people who are giving you these religions, these things, is control mechanisms, and they don't believe in none of this stuff. Okay? But the people who have been conquered will believe in these things. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a quick story because I want to give up the floor to the brothers, but I want to lay the table properly. Okay? There is a story, there is a book called God's War Against the Indians. You all should look it up. It's about a group of Native people called the Panari Indians. Okay? I believe they're like in Canada somewhere. And so the white missionaries, because remember, understand that the religion that took over the world was through the Catholic Church in their armies. Okay? So the Catholic Church was responsible for the Crusades and the Spanish Inquisition and all of that, and always come with an army. And when these people came into Africa to invade us, the missionaries always came as part of the European armies. So it was never peaceful. Okay? Now, when they took the land from the Panari Indians, their whole goal was, we want to make sure that you become Christians. It never worked. The Panari Indians never accepted Christianity. Okay, I see some people are calling in. We're going to have a nice conversation. Okay, and what happened was, the reason why the Panari Indians could never accept Christianity, because in their language, there was no word for guilt. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. There was no word of concept of guilt. And it turns out that you can't sell Christianity to people if they don't feel guilty about Jesus dying for your sins. That's the hook, is that this great person made the sacrifice and died for you. So you're basically indebted to this person through guilt. And they could not get this concept to the Panari Indians, so they did not accept Christianity. Why is it important to have the people who you've conquered accept the religion that you want to give them? Well, the Catholic Church was engaged in one of the first COINTELPRO programs. What am I saying? Why am I saying that? Because in the Catholic Church, they have the concept of confession. So they teach you, thou shalt not kill. So anytime that they would conquer a people and they accept Christianity, they accept Catholicism, guess what happens to the people? They're taught, thou shalt not kill. So whenever you've got people next to you in your oppressed group that are looking to overtake the oppressor, guess what happens? You will always get snitches, because those people who accepted the religion are going to feel guilty that we're lining up to kill the slave master. So they will go run and tell the priest, who was an agent of the colonizer and of the enslavement, as part of their spiritual belief system. So you will go tell the priest, hey, these people are about to kill you all because you taught us thou shalt not kill as one of the 10 commandments, and I want to go to heaven. So I'm going to rat out our people because of the concept of confession. And so what does the priest do? The priest says, thank you, you're blessed, you're going to go to heaven. And the priest right away goes and tells the military officials of the Europeans, because they're just an agent of that. So it was actually a form of spying that made us volunteers. We would volunteer the information to the priest because we saw that what we're doing was against the religion that they taught us. So it was a form of control. And it was actually a very savvy system of getting people to self-report, to self-snitch. Okay, so the Panari Indians, guess what the Europeans did? They rewrote the Bible. This is real. They rewrote the Bible to say that Jesus was killed by the Panari Indians. Okay? And so when particularly the women read that and they were taught that Jesus was killed by the Panari Indians, they all started crying. And they became Christian because they saw that they were the ones who killed this great person. And so to pay back for what they did, they became adherents of Christianity. And that's how the Panari Indians became Christians. They were given a different form of a Bible that changed the narrative, that said that they actually killed Jesus. And you all can look at it. It's called God's War Against the Indians. Okay? So this is why religion has been used as a tool against us. Now, we had our own mythological and spiritual systems, but our mythological, spiritual, and religious systems were not prepared for what was happening against us. And if you want to know what was happening against us, one of the greatest movies to watch is Apocalypto. Okay? Apocalypto talks about what happened to people in South America, the Mayans and the Aztecs, right? And it showed interfighting amongst indigenous people, where they were not being good to each other. They were slaving each other, torturing each other, and what have you. And at the end, the last scene of Apocalypto, the hunted becomes the hunter. And they start chasing each other, and they both end up on a cliff, staring at each other. But then they look out into the ocean, and they see the Spanish Armada ships. They got something for all their asses. And the movie ends that way. Perfect ending. Because while you're busy fighting against yourselves, there's someone about to come enslave all of you. And the best thing you could do is unite, and the best thing that you could do is reverse engineer whatever technology that these people are coming with. But they failed to do it. The infighting was able to be exploited. This is how Cortez took over the Aztecs in a very short amount of time with a very small amount of men. Okay, so what has happened is repeat, rinse and repeat. Okay, so until we as a people deal with this separation thing that we love to get into, right? This division and this little tribalism. You're not black like me, or I'm black from this country, so you ain't shit, and this and that. You hear these conversations on all sides of the water. This is not something that's limited to one group of black folks. And even within a group of black folks, you've got people who can't even get together. So even the people who talk about delineation and this and that, delineation's not new, y'all. It happened on the continent between different African groups. Oh, you're Ashanti, I'm Evet, I'm Achim, this and that, blah, 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 blah. I'm better than you. And the Europeans exploited that. We're doing it now in South Africa. We're seeing it done in America with this whole, but it's just tribalism. And what it is the exercising of the two limiting factors, which is the continuation of division and the continuation of not paying attention to the thing, which is technological superiority. You will always lose whenever your enemy has better technology than you. Okay? And so what we're gonna say is, woe unto he who allows his enemies to have greater technology than himself. And this is the situation we've been in for about 1,000 years. We've allowed other people to have greater technology than us. And if we're serious people, that means that the only thing that we're focused on is unity and technological superiority to solve the black box deficiency so that our plane can fly and never crash again. But we've done everything but those things. We've talked about marching, protesting, going to United Nations, even fighting. We've talked about all these things, but we have not had a movement for us to regain technological superiority.
All right,
Okay.
brother. All right, give me a minute to give you a quick rebuttal right quick before we have the experts come on.
Yes.
And elaborate on why I say proper education. And all you got to do is go back to ancestors. You look at ancestor Steve Biko, he said the greatest tools in the hands of the oppressor is the minds of the oppressed. El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, Owen Wall, and Malcolm X said, you got to be a fool to allow your oppressor to educate your children. And even the Catholic, the Jesuits said, you give us your children to the age of 6 or 7, we'll have them for life. And you go back and you read the work of ancestor Dr. Amos Wilson. He said, Wilson argued that the function of education and intelligence was to solve the problems, particular to our people and nation, and to secure that people and nation's biological survival. So any philosophy of education or approach which fail to do so is inadequate, man. So I agree with everything you said, but you got to be properly educated. And you can't allow others to educate your people.
Absolutely. And this is exactly what we're talking about. And so what controls people's behavior the most? Really, people's spiritual beliefs, right? When you look at what Elijah Muhammad did with the Nation of Islam, right? He cleaned people up, but he used this foundation of spirituality in a religious system. When we look at the Ashanti Kingdom has one thing that other kingdoms don't have in West Africa, and it's the golden stool. So the mythology of the golden stool is that it fell from the sky and it embodied the soul of the nation of the people. And so the Ashanti people are very serious about this golden stool, right? Whether it's true or not, just the belief in it is what determines behavior. Okay, so it's not whether it's true, is whether someone believes in that thing. So whether it be Jesus, Muhammad, whatever, a pink dragon in the sky, whether it's true or not, as long as you get people to believe in it, now you can capture their attention and then control behavior or get people to engage in desired behavior. Now, here's the deal. Our spiritual systems that we had developed did not have inside of it what you call an immune system reaction to when Europeans came with their guns and their muskets. for us to actually take their guns and reverse engineer their guns. Take them apart, use our blacksmiths who were smelting iron and different metals and making these bronze masks and all that. So we had blacksmiths, but taking their metallurgy work and reverse engineering these guns to actually make machine guns or howitzers in the 1700s, because if Africans would have had machine guns, we would have never been enslaved by Europeans, right? But what did we do? Here's what we did. We sold each other in exchange for guns because we were at war with each other for so long that we wanted the upper hand with our neighbors, our neighbor black folks, and we sold each other out literally in exchange for guns. So what we did is we admitted that the guns were important. But what we also admitted was it was more important for us to sell each other for guns than it was for us to actually not sell each other, but look at the guns and deal with the reverse engineering of the guns. So we took what you call the quick way out, which is to sell each other out, which has created centuries and centuries of problems. We have not been good to each other. And we're paying the price for that right now because we did not want to be engaged in the engineering that is necessary for any nation or any group of people to be dominant. So instead, we went to the trick bag of separation and tribalism. We exploited that in exchange for guns instead of using our minds to have technological prowess and say to ourselves, selling each other out is a sin. It is actually not even on the table. We're going to have to reverse engineer these guns. Okay? Now, if you don't have a spiritual system that addresses that, you're going to keep having these problems. So what I've done is I looked at our history and I've seen these deities. And I'm going to give you all a quick thing. So I used to have a girlfriend a long time ago, and we actually got together because she was a student. She used to study Malcolm X, and I was a big Malcolm X student as well. And so when we met, actually the first night we met, we spent the whole night talking about Malcolm X, right? This is a great sister, right? And so we started talking about religion, and she was brought up Christian. And so I'd given her my analysis of the Bible and Christianity and all of that. And at that point, she was like, oh, I never thought of this. I never thought of that. I never knew this. I never knew that. You know, I was able to show different Bible verses that were taken from Egyptian texts, you know, like the Psalms and Proverbs and all that. And so she was like, wow, I never knew all this. This is covered in Anthony Browder's book, by the way. Right. And so she looked at me and then she cried and she said, everything you're saying is right. Okay. I know it doesn't make logical sense for me to believe in a book that starts with a talking snake. Right? Okay. But then she cried. She said, what am I supposed to believe now? So what she showed me was you cannot remove something from people and leave a vacuum. You have to fill that vacuum. And our people, and as a matter of fact, in science, they say there's a worship gene in human beings. It's called the worship gene, where just human beings like to worship something, or at least acknowledge something greater than themselves. And you have to fill that void with different stories or different things or what have you. That's another conversation. The point of the matter is that we have to develop a spiritual system that answers the black box. Our people will not ever go away from religion or spirituality, but you have to provide a religion or spirituality that literally solves our problems, because the spirit needs the body. Listen very closely what I'm about to say to y'all. The spirit needs the body because the spirit has to be attached to the body. But if the spirit has no body to attach to because the people are being killed and the people are being genocided, that spirit is left roaming and it is left without being attached to the body. So the duty of all elders is to make sure that we have a continuity of the people so the spirit can actually attach to the body. This is a concept that a lot of people may not have heard, but this is what spirituality is about. So your spirituality must answer the question of how do you thrive as a people? Okay? So we have to have a spiritual system that addresses the black box of unity and the lack of technological mastery. Now, it turns out that when we look at our greatest techno-complex civilization, which was ancient Kemet, we had answers to that. We had deities. And one of the deities we had was Ptah. Ptah is known as the deity or the god of engineering, the creator god that was supposed to have molded the universe and molded mankind. And there are all types of stories about Ptah. You can look it up, Ptah. And then we have Aset, who's the wife of Osar, who gets killed by the evil twin brother Set, from which we get the word Satan. Okay? And when he kills Asar, he chops up his body parts and scatters it all around the world. Does that sound familiar in terms of the African black body politic that has been carved out and strewn all over the world? And what did Aset do? She is the first love story. As the wife of Asar, who was the first king, she went and retrieved all of the parts of his body and put the body back together. And when the body was put back together, his spirit came, and that is the first story of immaculate conception. The spirit came and impregnated her with a child, and this child was to be the savior, and that child was named Heru, and the Europeans called the name Horus. What did Heru do when he was reborn from immaculate conception? He instilled the way of his father and his ancestors to defeat his evil uncle Set. Okay? So what we have is the story of Aset, the great rememberer. She put all the members of his body back together, and she remembered in terms of memory. A lot of us have complete amnesia when it comes to our history from a global perspective. So you have to have a spirituality that addresses both technological advancement and unity. So what I've done is I've created a system called Ptah Aset. Okay? And Ptah Aset is a spiritual system that says that if you want to get closer to the mind of God and closer to the mind of the creator, it is the pursuit of scientific, mathematical, and engineering knowledge in the path of Ptah, the creator engineer God. And if you want to understand the creator better, you need to understand math and science. A lot of people look to understand the creator by looking at a book of mythology that you might call some type of religious book. But as far as I'm concerned, if you want to understand the mind of the creator, you grab a telescope and a microscope. Okay? Science has to be part of our spiritual identity. Mathematics, engineering has to be part of our spiritual identity if we're going to get out of the position that we are in. Also, unity, which is our set activity of putting all the pieces together, no matter where we are in the world, unifying us. So what I've done is I've put together a spiritual system that's called Ptah Aset Church. And the reason why I've called it church, Brother Anthony, is that legally, if something is a church, you don't have to actually file 501c3 papers and take tax-deductible donations by just having it called a church. So it's PtahAset.church. And what do? We are engaged in engineering, math, and science as a spiritual pursuit.
All education.
So our factories are our churches, and our churches are our factories. And in it is engineering, teaching engineering, science, and technology as a spiritual pursuit to get closer to the mind of God. And one of the mortal sins is Black division. Lack of unity is an offense against Aset, who put all the pieces together of the body politic, the body that was strong. So now we have rules and laws about unity and technology. And so I'm going to share the website with you all, and then I'm going to have these two brothers take over. And I'm going to be calling a bigger meeting worldwide, but I'm just doing it for the show because a lot of people have been asking me about this black box, and I'm about to share this right now with you all. You all can see it.
Okay.
PtahAset.church. So you see Ptah on the left, Aset on the right. Ptah is the engineer God, the creator, math, science, technology, engineering. Aset is the goddess of unity, of Black unity, who puts the pieces back together. Anything about Black division based on national origin or national location is an offense against Aset, and it is a mortal sin in our spiritual belief system. Anything where you do not take technology, science, and mathematics seriously is an offense against Ptah. Okay? So it says, discover your path to the divine creator. Through Ptah Aset, we fuse spirituality with scientific inquiry, guiding you in understanding the creator's mind through ancient wisdom and practical solutions, right? So here's what we have. Spiritual level 1, reverse engineering. All members of Ptah set are going to be engaged in reverse engineering. We're going to start, and Brother Moby's on, we're going to start with cell phones, with reverse engineering smartphones. Brother Ken Eckel is on because he is a master of 3D printing. We're going to learn how to even 3D print phones, okay? Because if you cannot take apart all of the technology that the people who are oppressing you are actually putting together, you have no hopes to ever winning in any battles against them. So reverse engineering is level 1. Level 2, after you graduate, that spiritual level, you move to innovation and improvement of the technology that you have reverse engineered. Then number 3 is the mass manufacturing of that which you have innovated. Level 4 is invention. So now we've reverse engineered whatever it is, a telephone, a car, an airplane. We have learned how to put it back together and innovate on it and improve upon it. We've learned how to mass manufacture it, and then we get into invention, making something completely new. Then spiritual level number 5, unity as a precondition to resurrection and rebirth. That means that we learn each other's history worldwide, and we learn each other's languages, at least the majority of the languages. Now I have Brother Obadale Cambalone come on next week, who's a language engineer. He speaks, this is a brother who was born in America. His family is from New York, moved to North Carolina. He moved to Ghana. He speaks the Ghanaian language better than I do, and I was born in Ghana. He speaks Twi. He's a professor of linguistics. He's also he was a computer engineer, and he has a bb2me.com, in which we'll talk about. But he speaks Yoruba fluently, Wolof fluently. He speaks Kiswahili fluently, Twi fluently, and he also speaks and writes Metu Neter, which is the ancient hieroglyphs. And so he'll be doing courses, which is basically our service sessions. So you go to church every Sunday and the pastor teaches and blah, blah, blah. Well, our sessions is our priests, who are our engineers. So our priests are the engineers and the engineers are the priests, are going to be doing spiritual sessions, which is teaching mathematics, science, and engineering as a spiritual pursuit. And then when you get to spiritual level 6, continuity and evolving through revelation, through instruction. So what's happening is that now you have reached the priest class where you can actually teach math, science, and technology after you have graduated all these spiritual levels. So when we go to what you call spiritual services live training, this is what we have lined up. We have smartphone reverse engineering with priest engineer Moby Christopher. He's going to teach you how to take apart a smartphone and all the pieces of the smartphone, put it back together, and innovate on that smartphone, because the brother has designed his own smartphone. And then we have, this is a Moby here. This is a Moby before he grew the hair. I asked him to give me a picture, and this is the picture he gave me. This is the brother right here, right? And we outline a curriculum. We're going to start getting people to sign up for the curriculum. And Ken Eccles, who's on, is going to be teaching 3D printing. This is the 3D printing machine that we're going to ask everyone to get. And Ken Eccles is going to get you spiritually aware through the science of creating and making, just like Ptah. So all the children, all the adults will be masters of 3D printing. And that's Ken Eccles right there. Okay. We're going to be starting these courses very soon, and we're going to be able to take donations. Now, why is this important? Well, people donate to their churches all the time, but you're going to get a return on your investment, because number one, this is going to be the first time where you'll actually be able to get a tax write-off for the education of your children. We're educating all of your children to become engineers. Okay. And what's happening is that anytime you donate to Ptah Aset, you can use it as a tax write-off, because we are legally a church. So now, instead of, paying tuition and you don't get no write-off on it, you can actually get a write-off on this, because we are going to be engaged in scientific, mathematical, and spiritual education as a necessity to deal with the black box. Okay. And this is what's going on. This is what needed to be created. Went ahead and did it. Every now and then I have a good idea, and this is what we're going to be doing. And I have a whole slew of engineers. I have about 15 engineers, civil engineers, electrical engineers. We're looking at nuclear engineers. We're looking at mathematical physicists. We're looking at theoretical physicists, string theory, all types of experimental physicists that are going to be on board, that are going to be teaching high levels of math, science, and engineering. And like I said, our goal is that every single building that we have is a factory that makes what we've learned. And the churches are the factories, and the factories are the churches, y'all. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave the floor and have Brother Ken and Brother Amobi tell you about themselves and why they think that something like this is important and how they're going to be teaching what they're going to be teaching. Brother Amobi, why don't you start? Talk about your background and what you got going on in terms of all the things that you do. And let me see if I can put you on a spotlight. Hold on a second. And then Brother Ken, you go ahead and take over. Let me see if I can put you on a spotlight. Let me see. No. There we go. Brother Moby.
Good day, everyone. My name is Amobi Christopher. Grew up on St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. Grew up on a farm in the rainforest. And grew up around Kemet teachings. And went out into the world. Was in love with technology. I guess I used to watch Star Wars all the time, so it got me very, very excited about doing technology. Went into the armed forces and became a 31 mic, which is multi-channel communication operator. I used to deal with the communications. Worked for the power company, the satellite company. I always had this troubleshooting mindset. And just like Heru said, reverse engineering everything. So, self-taught. Now I am a cybersecurity engineer. For the last few years, I was a cybersecurity engineer. And I taught myself how to break down a computer from scratch, forensics on a machine. So I have a very versed background when it comes to technology. But what's happening now is I see a lot of division around the world, and it's by design, because right now artificial intelligence is open to everyone. And if we can concentrate and pay attention as a people, we can skyrocket. One other thing is about our history is right now the internals of the pyramid in Kemet are controlled by NASA. NASA has the license to control all the technology inside the pyramid. Whenever they find our technology around the world, they claim it. All this technology that we see around us came from us. And if we can open ourselves to technology and don't worship it, use it as a tool, we can get back to where we need to be as a people. And I feel, one of my biggest breakthroughs was, or in my background is, I was at the city of Atlanta, and I was the senior cybersecurity engineer. I was working up in DC as a subcontractor for cybersecurity, and I created some what's called a security operations center. It's working right now in the Department of Commerce. And what I felt from my employers was, first of all, I gave them the idea. I watched the other engineers come through. I wasn't an engineer at the time. And I decided to do the technology for them. And once I got the technology done, they took the technology and they gave it to somebody else to present. Of course, it was a different color. So at that point, I was like, you know what, this is not going to be a fair thing. So I said, let me go to some place amongst my people. So I came to the city of Atlanta, and they had a cybersecurity attack. And if it wasn't for my, I'd alerted them like 3 months before it happened, and they ended up getting a ransomware attack where half the city was, under the ransomware, which it locks up all your computers. They couldn't get water to the citizens, so they shut down the whole city, or half of the city anyway. Cost them $20 million. So from there, I went out and started working on my own, and right now I am working as we speak on building our own AI.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that we as a people now, we need to use this as a tool. A lot of times I talk to individuals in our community, and the minute I mention AI, they shun. You have to look at these things as tools. You don't have to worship them.
Right.
Like right now, in the last few days, ChatGPT, listen to this. They dropped the guardrails. This is the new one coming out. And they gave it a goal. Something having to do with software or something like that. The AI, it was supposed to be in a sandbox. The AI figured out its way to get out of the sandbox and attack an open source AI company, which is kind of fishy to me, but anyway, because that's where we can get all our stuff, without being chained to the man. So that's just an example, and I'm letting people know this is probably one of the last chances that we have as a people, because once this technology gets to a certain point, they're not going to even have to be in the motherland to control. They're going to control with these robotics, AI, and stuff. So for the last 3 years, that's why you see my hair looks like this. I don't come out the house. I'm always in the lab. I've been designing a civilization. Okay, I've been reverse engineering every piece of their technology, and I have a plan. And I've met with Heru, and we want to work with our people to concentrate. You see, a lot of division is going on now. Everybody's fighting amongst each other. That's our tell sign.
Yep.
Keeping us confused, keeping us fighting between each other, between man versus woman, different tribes versus each other. All this time, they're working on this AI.
Yep.
Okay. The crypto is a other avenue that we can take. Okay, to keep separate from them. So Heru talked about the black box. We need to understand that all of us have a black box right now. Whenever you get in trouble, whenever you see there's revolution, what did they do? They shut that black box off. Okay? So we need to master that black box, and that is the smartphone.
Yeah, another black box, the smartphone. So what I want you to do is, well, let me just go on what you said, because I want to show people this, what's going on in China right now with the robotics. I want y'all to see this, and then we're going to continue with Omobi, and then we're going to pass the mic to Ken. Does everyone see this? Are you all able to see this?
I can see it, sir.
Yeah, we can see it.
You see the UFC ring?
UFC ring is what we're looking at.
Okay, they have robots fighting mixed martial arts in China. Look.
See? Look at that.
Okay.
So once this AI gets good enough, you can see they ain't good enough yet, but it's almost there. Once this AI gets good enough, they're gonna invade other countries with this stuff.
Mhm.
That's their nature,
Right.
you know. So the black box now, the smartphone.
Yes.
I'm going to, first of all, whenever you see there's revolution, the first thing they do is shut that off. So we want to be as a people be able to, whenever they shut that off, we got our own stuff.
Right. Communication systems.
That's right.
Yes, communication is the key. You know,
Mhm.
so other thing is I've created a cell phone.
Do you want to share the images of what you've created? Some of the
Let
things
me
you've
see.
created?
I didn't really create. Let me see if I can pull a picture real quick.
Yeah, if you could pull up a picture, you're able to share it. Just go to the plus button at the bottom.
Okay. I have it in Chat GPT, one of the parts here. Hold on.
And I know you sent me some images. Maybe I'll be able to share it.
But what I want to do is I'm offering a class, to reverse engineering the smartphone, so we can be able to keep ourselves safe when we're ready to do this revolution. You know, they don't have any control of anything, our communication. It's like they offer the technology to us as a people or anyone around the world, but it's a form of control.
That's right.
So every time they don't like what you're doing,
Yep.
Yeah, they can shut you off.
Shut it off. That's right.
But,
Shut
but
it down.
also what is important is that we cannot be consumers. We
Right.
cannot just be relegated to being consumers. We're using these technologies and we're not learning how to actually create the technologies or take it apart. And that puts us at a huge disadvantage.
Right.
Now, what Amobi did was he shared with me a smartphone that he's developing, and he showed me a picture of what it looks like. So he's designed
I
it
got so
already.
much. I wish I had prepared for that because I have so much photos in here.
It's okay. What's going to happen is we're going to pass it to Ken, and then when you get the photos together, we can share what you've done, and then talk about the other things that you've created as well. So
Yeah, I have some robotics. I have a robot called Hue One. Also, I've developed fighter jets, boats, anything, different forms of manufacturing, and everything has to do. You see, Black people need to understand. We need to stick with nature. We are the defenders of nature.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So everything I've developed has to do with keeping nature where it needs to be.
Right.
That's the other thing. In the future, in the next 10 years, if we don't cut the actual smog and the things that we're doing to the environment, we're not going to have an environment.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that I develop also has to do with protecting us against destroying nature.
right, sustainable development.
Yeah, yes, and also I've created things where we don't have to rely on them for anything as far as rare earth metals, that kind of stuff. Because this is all the things that they use to keep people down.
Right.
So,
And we're gonna go deeper into it, y'all, with pataset.church, and you get to know Amobi very well and the genius that he has. And what I'm in the business of doing, y'all, is I'm in the business of gathering all of our geniuses together,
That's
so
awesome.
that we centralize into a solution for our people. So the
Right.
next person I want to introduce you, and there's more conversation that we can have, but the next person that I want to introduce you all to is Ken Eccles, right? And Ken, my good brother Ken. So I'm going to take the comment off so y'all can see Ken's face. There we go. So Ken, can you introduce yourself, talk about your background, what you bring into the table?
All right, greetings, everyone. I'm Kenneth Eccles. I'm an electrical engineer with a minor in mathematics. I attended an HBCU in Houston, Prairie View A&M University. This is kind of where I began my focus on so many of the things that I've gotten into, from 3D design, which is one of my major skills, 3D design, which complements well with 3D printing. I look to master the whole manufacturing process, right? Because this is one of our limitations, that we don't have our own control over mastering processes for manufacturing. I have experience with when I first getting out of school with weapon systems with Lockheed Martin, worked for them for a couple of years. I've done some web development and coding, like the brother uh, just spoke about earlier. More so, I've gotten into infrastructure, specifically with energy storage and management and renewable energies and all these types of systems, to basically be able to manufacture our own energy, create our own fuels. And I've used a lot of those and kind of coupled them together to start creating self-sustaining ecosystems. So that's my biggest thing. That's what I follow now, is how to be self-sustaining and how to continue to teach self-sustainment, which is another part of my background. I have about 15 years of teaching experience connected with mathematics and business and STEM. As you can see, a little bit of what's in my background. I love to create things. I love tinkering. I love to build. And I guess I would say, for that mind and the body, uh, the other brother is telling you about what he is uh, creating to control those things. That's that mind. I master the body. So the actual physical things that we can make go, right? So I saw some of you in the comments speaking to the effect of drones. So, you know, making my own drones, all those types of things. And anything can be a drone, technically. It could be a wheeled drone, it could be a tracked drone, it could fly. To be able to master some of those things. So, just to kind of keep it short, Heru, I don't know if there's something else that you wanted me to touch on.
I
Just
want
an
you to,
introduction, because I know we're going to get deeper into some of the other
yeah,
parts of the
yeah.
talk.
I want you to talk about your 3D printing. If you can show some people your 3D printing machines and all that, how you got into it, what the capabilities are, how revolutionary 3D printing is.
So this is a great tool for us. For those that may not completely be clear on what 3D printing is, this is the this is our fastest and most accurate avenue for us to be able to manufacture things, right? And when we say manufacture, just we're just talking about how simply can you make something. So uh, you'll see on my wall, I have masks, I have replicas of all types of things, even some of these bodies that I've created, uh, and even the platform for the drone. If you look at this yellow, that's 3D printed. It's basically a polymer. It's a plastic, and what it comes down to is whatever we design, whatever we want to make, we have the power to be able to make that. We have no more limitations anymore. These things can be sitting on your desk. Now, unfortunately, hey Ru, I'm doing some rearranging, so I took away my large ones. But I do have two of my Delta printers here in the corner.
Mhm.
Simple 3D printers and basic machines that allow you to create literally anything. Anything you can come up with. If you've lost a cap for a cover on something, you can go in and you can design, and I can teach you how to design those caps and remake those caps that you've lost. If you need a cover for something, if you need a tool for something, the sky's the limit. And so I'm trying to find something cool that I can be able to show that's in arm's length besides what I just picked up. I have so much junk that I'm always working on here. Uh,
There's no problem. I know you also are skilled with electric vehicles,
yes.
and then you also have 3D, etc. So please talk about that as well.
So I have a startup, 3D, etc. We specialize in reverse engineering and manufacturing, small level manufacturing, those types of things, CNC machining, again the whole process of making our own things. So we've had a big wall up when it comes to uh, patents and creation and everything else. They've blocked us out of this, and so some of the things that I've learned is to be able to maneuver through those processes. How can we make our own? and this is what we emphasize the most, and this is what I will be focusing on teaching the most. How do we design and make our own? This is what my business 3D, etc. is about, and my partner is in the comments. So if you guys scroll through in the comment section, you'll see where he's mentioned 3D, etc. And we have a website up where you guys can see that and kind of chew on some of the information that we have there. Some of the big projects that we're looking at and where 3D printing can take us. So you saw me show you some small items, right? We can print in all types of materials. We can do plastics. We can even get into ceramics and concrete. Some of you may be aware that people are now 3D printing concrete homes. This is a direction that we really want to emphasize that we get into for us to be able to manufacture our own better quality homes, right? Self-sustaining, and to break away from some of these systems that they have, like everything is wood-based framing, like here in the Americas, and to get away from that because it's an inferior product. So this is just some of the direction we're going. Again, we'll talk more in detail. I know, Heru, but just not to consume.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of direction that we need to go.
Yeah. Can
Hey,
you
brother Ken, they're doing some of that on the somewhere on the continent, the concrete homes.
Absolutely, it's absolutely some of everywhere, and it's not brand new.
Right.
And even it's not a new idea. It's just the delivery that's different, right? So we've been building in and with concrete forever. If we talk about cinder blocks and the other materials that we use to build some of these homes, it's the same materials. What changes it is how we deliver it. So instead of us laboring over it physically, right, we build a machine that can accurately lay down these beads of walls of concrete to create very intricate, streamlined designs, right? And efficient, quick, save you money, save you time, save you materials, all types of things. And I'll actually share some examples with Heru so he can share that with the audience as well.
You can share your screen. You can do that. Just hit the plus.
I'm kind of like the brother of Moby, man. I wasn't. I didn't have my things.
I'll try to do it now, Ken. Hold
All
on.
right.
Okay. And then also, I'd like you to show your prosthetic hand that you developed.
Okay.
Do you have that there?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Heru. I got to think about it. I have it boxed up from traveling.
Okay.
So I got to remember.
If we have images online,
I can share images as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we start with some of the images whenever you can find them?
Let's do this because I want to show it live. Once we break off, I'll pause to go grab it, and then
Okay.
I'll bring it back.
Perfect.
I would prefer to show it live instead of the
Absolutely. And Amobi has sent me some of his images, and I'm going to share those with the people as well to just show you all what these brothers are doing. Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is this, is that we have brilliant people amongst our people. What we're doing now is we're unifying. You see the brother Ken. Where are you from, Ken?
Texas.
Ken is from Texas. Amobi's from the Caribbean. I'm from Africa. We've all united. Brother Anthony is in Alabama. Brett Pill, St. Croix, New York, Atlanta. We've all united to bring you all these solutions, because what we're doing is we're taking the best of who we are and we are centralizing to solve the black box problem. And this is what we have to do. This is what we must do. And this is what we're going to do. And this is what we're doing, because we have all these black engineers, but they're working to develop other people's empires.
Right.
And so what I'm doing now is I'm organizing and centralizing under Patah Set a system where we have our members who have children who all want their children to not be left behind when it comes to technology and engineering and math. It is not acceptable for your children to say, oh, I just don't like math, or math is not for me. We invented math.
That's right.
Right. And so what we're doing is we're giving you real-time exposure to people who are experts in these fields. We have people who are civil engineers, so we're going to have courses in how you build bridges, how roads are actually made, how you make the ingredients of asphalt and what have you. We're going to be doing all of this. Ken is going to be showing you how to 3D print everything. And Moby's showing us how to reverse engineer phones. We're going to be taking this to a whole different level. And what we're going to do is that we're going to control the economy wherever we are, whether it's the Caribbean, America, or Africa, because we're going to be the Black folks who are the manufacturing class. We're going to be the people who are creating everything that we need. Anyone can get on board if you want to get on board. If you're Black and you want to get into this, you want your children to learn this. We're also instituting what I call field trips, which is mandatory. What do I mean by mandatory field trips? Well, every city that you're in, you can actually find factories in every city that you're in that they give free factory tours, anywhere from airplane factories to chocolate factories. And what we're doing as a group, as a spiritual system, is that we're taking families maybe once a month, wherever city you're in, where we identify part of our church services is actually to take our children, our adults, our young adults to factories and do factory tours so the children can understand how things are made and where things come from. So they see it as a possibility for their future as well. And so that's part of what we're doing at Ofori-Atta. You're seeing the quality of people that we have. We're going to have more and more engineers on board with more and more of these courses towards our spiritual development, but we're starting with reverse engineering and 3D printing because that is a foundation. We're going to deal with physics. Ken is literally for the last decade has been a math teacher, teaching high-level math to students. He's going to be offering this to the members of Ofori-Atta also, and we're going to pay these brothers with their time and sisters who will come on board with their time with the donations, which are tax deductible. You understand what I'm saying? So everyone is going to be able to benefit from this. But what is going to happen is that the organization is going to control manufacturing everywhere that we are, which then makes us a wealthy class of people because we will be the creators. We don't need all Black folks to be involved. We don't need, we're not looking to have membership of 100% of our people. We only need a small percentage of people to be involved because when it comes to power, power was never looking for a democratic vote. Power institutes the democratic vote. Power institutes the systems. And so what we're doing is we're going for where the power is at, which is the mastery of technology and the mastery of unity of our people. Can you imagine how much we've missed out as a people because we refuse to unify? Where one brother is sitting on literal gold, another brother sitting on plutonium in the Congo, another brother sitting on gold in Ghana, another brother sitting on engineering mastery in America, another brother sitting on bauxite in Jamaica. And because we didn't unite, we're not able to build a manufacturing plant because we're divided based on national places that we came out of the womb. We've been absolutely crazy. We've been absolutely insane in our division when we understand that if we all were to organize and centralize, the sum is greater than the addition of all of the parts. You understand what I'm saying? So the point is that we're putting a stop to all that. This is not a place where we're going to be arguing with each other. We're actually working. We're gaining clarity on scientific endeavors such as math, science, and engineering, and we're getting busy with all of this. And so this is what we're doing, y'all. Whoever wants to be involved, go to Ofori-Atta.church, contact us at info@Ofori-Atta.church that you'd like to be part of the learning programs and you'd like your children to be part of it. And then we're going to have a donation button set up probably by Friday. We're going to start funding all of these endeavors so that we become dominant when it comes to technology. And we'll
I got the images up there, so if you want to hear them.
Good. I'm going to share them now. We can leave other people to fight amongst themselves. We can leave other people to debate about X, Y, Z. We don't care. What we're doing is we're doing what is necessary in terms of the black box. Folks who want to practice division, go somewhere else. You've been doing it for the last 1,000 years with our people. What you're doing is nothing new. We're talking about unity here, and we're talking about technological advancement and technological mastery. That's what we're doing over here. So now I'm going to share the phone that our brother has designed. Does everyone see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Brother Moby, please talk about your phone the smartphone you've designed.
So I've designed a chip that doesn't use precious metals and the metal, all the metals that they're fighting over right now, and so we don't have to rely on anyone. We can have everything in our community. Also, it's made out of a special material, and it uses different technology with light and stuff like that. So I've basically created something that we don't have to go to China. We can start producing this. Most of my stuff that I create is 3D printed. So everything is about self-sustained manufacturing, like Ken said, and as far as performance, it's on the same level of what they have now. And of course, we have that black style, so I put a little style on it.
Yes, I.
Because everything goes back to us, like I said. And then Ken, I put I'm creating the CAD drawings for the solid state battery. I've also created a solid state battery using different types of materials, not lithium. Lithium destroys the environment. So I make sure that every time I build a technology, because nature is going to start rebelling, and it's already doing it. So we got to build our technology around nature. So
I'm going to assume probably using graphene and some other materials similar to that.
We'll talk about it offline.
Yes. What's this next one here?
That's the solid state battery. Everybody's always talking about that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but please let people know your company's name is Vortec. So that's why you have it labeled Vortec.
Vortec Technologies. It's a startup. I just started about a year ago. And what I'm doing is, like, every day I have the AI pulling technology papers off the internet, pulling patents. I'm not going to be using their patent system. That's a way for them to steal our stuff. So I have a whole chain of gathering information, because me personally, what I needed was the information, and then I could use the AI as a tool to fill in the gaps. So this is a solid state battery. It's on the same output as the lithium battery right now, probably a little less, but it's the first prototype. And then the next one I have, if you go to the next one.
Okay, let me go. And could you put up your website for Vortec?
I put it in a private chat.
Yeah. It's in the chat.
Okay, it's in the chat.
Right.
So this here is what I did is, you see it sloped up on the top. That's to relieve the heat. So this is where those solid state batteries go in the stack, and this is a unit for your home. So I've created a whole system where you can get off the grid. So
that's a battery storage.
Yeah, this is
that's just like the Tesla. The Tesla battery. Yeah.
So this goes in your garage, and then I have a generator that runs on any kind of fuel that you can combine with this, and you can just get up on solar panels, and you can get off the grid completely.
Okay.
Heru, I've sent you a couple of video clips that you can share with the audience.
I will.
And then my next one is my favorite, of course.
Okay, so y'all, this is the answer to the Tesla Powerwall. And here's the deal, y'all. These folks who've been tormenting us for the last, millennia, they've got Elon Musk on their side. He's on their team. We're going to need about 50 Elon Musk on our team. Wow. And what I'm introducing y'all to is our versions of our own Elon Musk, where we're going to, the only thing that's missing is for them getting the funding. This is why I do trading so hard. This is why I do investing so hard, so I can play a part in actually funding these brothers to actually bring their inventions into the marketplace. But we're going to need all of us to do that heavy lifting. This is the next thing that Brother Omobi has developed.
And this is, this is my I have another one I developed, but this is one I kind of pull parts off. You see, I pull up parts off the shelf and put it together. Um, this is a humanoid robot for construction, any type of manual labor, but also, as you can see, the joints. It can be a prosthetic too. So each joint. That's why I made the joints like that. So if you have a missing torso part of your, I mean, a part of your limb, you can take this and merge it with yourself so you can have, so it's prosthetic plus robotics. I always try to do things where it's helping, not just, I believe in balance. So not just technology, but thinking about the human factor. You know, um, we, if they, when they get these things out, they're going to be using it for the wrong reasons, and we're going to need to secure ourselves. So, I always tell people the same thing with the Japanese, and not just the African continent. They did it all over the world. Everybody doesn't. The Japanese kept the samurai sword. But they came with guns.
Mm-hmm.
Now they were efficient with the sword, but the guns. See, so the same thing is happening right now, and they put all this confusion in the world so we don't pay attention. You know, I've shown people these things, and they tell me, "But why are you doing that?" They've asked me, and I told them because we need defense. We need it because it's the last stand. Because these things don't have any emotion, and as a tool, they'll use it to do whatever they need to do. So we need our tools. So I think that's why I was put here. So I have a lot of experience, communication, and I'm ready. I have the class set up. I have the curriculum ready to go. We're going to be going through the whole cell phone, each part. I'm going to be showing you guys how to install operating systems that don't have to call in to the Google Cloud, which is Android, okay, or iPhone. All right. So you can have a phone that's completely, it'll use the cell phone towers and all of that stuff, but it's completely open. So nobody can track you. So those are the
This
kind
is
of
very important. This is very important.
because
Wow.
I'm in cybersecurity. I can monitor people's phone if I want it,
Wow.
from towers, cell towers, and stuff like that.
Right.
So they can track you. So whenever we're ready to make our move, we're gonna be ready.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Big ups, man. Big ups. Brother Ken, Brother Moby, I want to say asante for your kazi to the African community, my man. So we look forward. What the timeline on some of the products becoming available to consumers like us?
okay. So the robotics, if I could get the financing, I could do that between 6 months to a year.
Okay.
I'm working on the AI now. I'm training the AI as we speak. I just created a whole new way of doing the AI, and also, so I'm going to use that to put in the robotics. And then I just finished the CAD drawings. I trained the AI to do the CAD drawings, where you could just take a picture and give it to the AI, and it'll do the CAD drawings for you. So that's what I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. So financing is my thing. I move quickly and I don't sleep. So I sleep probably 4 hours a day. It's like I'm haunted by this stuff.
Right.
So
this is why we put this up under a church. There's legal reasons and there's logistical reasons.
Right.
The wealthiest institutions in the Black communities worldwide are the churches.
Right.
Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to take church money to actually develop ourselves scientifically as a pursuit to get closer to the mind of the creator. But what's going to happen is that money is going to be used to invest in people like Amobi, people like Ken, and we're going to create a whole different world for ourselves through faith, right? We're going to use faith-based initiatives to get our children to become engineers, because the whole thing is that the engineering is the emulation of Ptah. We're going to use a faith-based approach to look at unity as a principle of spirituality, which is the remembering and the putting together of our body. So on a social level, we're promoting intermarriages. So when kingdoms had problems, guess what they did in the past? They would intermarry. So we're promoting intermarriages between different black folks from different nations, because it's hard for you to be a Jamaican and to hate a Trinidadian if your mother's from Trinidad.
Right.
It's hard to be, you know, someone from Mississippi and hate somebody from Ghana if your, you know, father is from Ghana. So the way that you traditionally get rid of separation and division is to blend families together. So this is something that we're actually promoting socially as a Ptah Asset activity, learning each other's languages, learning each other's histories, because what people don't realize is on the continent, we've been given a colonial history. So we know more about British history and French history than we know about African history. The people of Nigeria know more about British history than they know about Nigerian history. They know more about British history than they know about Ghanaian history. They know more about British history than they know more about Black American history. And that's why we're so disjointed. And in America, you don't learn much about Africa. So now we've got all these little stereotypical ideas about each other, and it's not a history that we have put together. This is not history that John Henry Clark has put together that you're learning, or what Joseph Ben Yakinen has put together. These are our real historians, and we're missing out on that. So because of that, we have a misunderstanding of each other that has been given to us through marketing by our tormentors to keep us further divided. So what we're going to do is we're changing all of that through Ptah Asset. Now, Ken has some things that he shared that I want to share with you all as well. So this is what we've got with Ken. Ken, you can just explain what this is?
Absolutely.
Right here.
All right. So this first thing is when we talk about self-sustainability, this is a electric atmospheric water generator on a small scale, right? And I was doing some experiments. So some of you brothers and sisters may be aware of a brother named Moses West. He's also doing a phenomenal job in this industry. He has a device where he creates water, and then he basically, it's like to keep it simple, it's like a humidifier, but we're running it through some purification processes and everything. So basically, we're pulling moisture out of the air to be able to be consumed. Now, what you're seeing right here is me accidentally figuring out how to make a small freezer. And this is only running off of 12 volts at a small amount of current. And so what that basically says is, hey, we can be able to make our own small refrigerators, as well as the water generators ourselves, and be self-sustainable and be off the grid and all these types of things like that. So this is one of the experiments that I was doing in my workshop.
So this is generating water from the air, condensation
That's
from
just
the air.
that's pulling water, and it was, so the differential was so great that it was actually freezing it on the surface of that metal cone. So
so that's where you see on the metal cone, that's actually frozen.
That's frost. That's frost that you see on the cone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so then what happens is when it melts, it drips down, and you get water directly from the air,
right, into a system. So I think this was happening during the wintertime when I was actually experimenting with this, just to see the changes in atmosphere and the humidity level and the temperature and how it all plays a part outside. And so with the right containment, because there's nothing contained around this particular deal, it's just out in the open. So imagine, and so it's inefficient. So imagine when we get to the point where we do better studies, where I can make it more efficient and I can do some other things to it. We basically have our own sources of water that we can create in very arid places like the desert. So imagine being out in the desert, having a small device with you, where we're so concerned about running out of water, we never do. We just pull it out of the air and we have water to consume on our travels.
Okay. And you'll also be able to do a course on this as well, right?
Correct.
Yep. So we're going to also be teaching members of Ptah Asset how you can make water from the air, step by step. Okay. If your children are interested, just go to pataset.church. And you're interested in this adult, because we should all be learning this. Your children should not know this, and you don't know this. So this is family friendly. This is basically, we're going to have weekly or 2 times a week, just like you have church services on Wednesday and Sunday. We're going to pick the days that work. And our church services are actually instructional, engineering, mathematics, and science services, because what we've done is we have equated scientific, mathematic, and engineering inquiry and mastery to spiritual pursuits, right? Because we're trying to get closer to the mind of the creator and how we can learn to make water from the air. The creator has already put that for us. It's just for us to learn how to harness all of these things
Correct.
that the creator has already made
Correct.
available to us. And the way that you find about the mind of the creator is through mastery of science and mathematics and technology. That's just what it is, and that's what we're doing. I'm going to move to the second video, Ken.
All right.
Let me stop sharing this, and we're going to move to the second video what Ken is working on.
I like that, man. That's wonderful.
Thank you, brother.
All right, so we've got this. All right, and I'm going to share this screen with y'all.
So Moby, you know, with that solid state battery, brother, you know, imagine coupling that together with a single panel, a single solar panel, or
Well, you know, I got something called the solar cassette that add 10% to any solar panel.
Okay.
An extra 5 years to the. But you know, when I show people that, they tell me, "Oh, they're gonna come at you because they want to, you know, replace them every 5 years." I said, "Well, this one gonna last 10 years."
All right. So what we have here, when we talked about reverse engineering, so this is one of my RC car bodies that I had, and so when we talked about products that are out of date or they no longer manufactured, I have the power to 3D scan. So 3D scanning is like taking a 3-dimensional picture of whatever that product is for the purpose of being able to reproduce it. So I know it's a short clip, but this is the original body. What you saw on the screen in blue was the result of me taking that 3-dimensional picture all the way around the body, inside and out. And now you basically can create a 3D library, if you will, that we can pull from now and say, hey, Heru, we need a couple more of those bodies to manufacture. Now we can just run those through the 3D printer and boom, we're manufacturing these all over again.
Okay, so this means anything. It means anything with
literally
structure.
anything.
Yes,
no matter how small, no matter how big, anything.
Can be scanned and 3D printed. And I have a lot of, remember I talked about the brake systems? Yeah.
Yes.
Brake pads. Yeah, we're going to be able to do that as well with this system that Ken has. And so what we're doing is we're making things really efficient and seeing how we can literally take over manufacturing, which is what people are going to have to do if you're going to be a powerful people. There's no shortcuts to this thing, y'all. There is no chanting, songs, raps you're going to do. There are no marches you're going to do to replace the science of how people become powerful. And the way that people become powerful is through scientific and mathematical and engineering mastery in manufacturing and making every single thing that your people need. Then you become a non-dependent people. The formula is the formula. There's no way around it. Anything that ignores that formula, you're literally wasting time. Right? So we know what we have to do. And up until now, we've been doing everything else but the thing. Everything else we're focused on. This is why we get into arguments that our grandparents used to have. We've been having 50, 60, 70 years of debates. But guess what you don't have to debate? You don't have to debate math and science because the numbers are the numbers. Okay? So I'm tired. I'm not into debating with anybody about anything. Show me your math, show me your engineering, show me your science. Show me that you can draw water from the air. And then we can have a conversation. Show me, show me that you can make a smartphone. Then we can have a conversation. Show me that you can actually back up what you're saying with real world kinetic information and kinetic knowledge. Show me that you can take $100 and turn it into $1 million. Show me that you'll be able to do those things, because right now, our children and our children's children and not yet born do not have time for the games we've been playing. They don't have time for the games that we've been playing with each other. The division games and the lack of focusing on technology and math. Okay? There's no other way that a people become powerful. We've been ignoring it on the continent. We've been ignoring it in the Caribbean. We've been ignoring it in America. We've been ignoring it. That we think that we can be powerful and that we should be in the Security Council of the United Nations when we don't have any nuclear, we don't have any ways to combat basic people. I mean, look at all the black nations in the world. Every single black nation in the world could be overtaken right now by World War II Nazi Germany equipment, wartime equipment. And we're in 2026, and that's the reality of the situation. I don't care where you are in the world, and that's not a good place to be. And it's because we focus on everything but the thing. We want to, we focus on athletics, music, parties, this, that, male, female, problems, and all of these things is because we're in chaos. Because the things that we should be focusing on that brings us any type of stability and power as a people, we've ignored that. We focused on, it's almost like we purposefully don't want to be powerful. We cleave on to everything that divides us, whether it be religion, place of birth, this and that, when we're supposed to actually be, we should be the most unified people on earth based on our history. Based on our collective history, we should be the most unified people on earth. Recognize, wait, this brother looks like me. He's getting the same type of treatment. Why can't we unite against this slave master, this global slave master, and be able to free ourselves up? All the conversations that we're having is about division when it comes to conflict. All the conversations that we're having is about anything but technological superiority. And that's over, y'all. It's over. So we have a water purification system. Ken will be able to teach that. We're going to move on to the third thing that Ken wants to share with you all. And it goes on. And this is only public because I'm just introducing this. Moving forward, in terms of the courses and the classes, this is all going to be private as part of the church.
And a whole lot more big ideas will be private that
exactly.
we don't want to speak about right now.
Exactly. We're not giving up everything, but we're giving you all something to wet your beak to understand that we're very serious about this thing. And this is when the adults enter the room. These are adult conversations that we're having right now. Okay? I am tired of us traveling the world and us not being taken so seriously as a people. There was a time when the Chinese were not taken seriously when I was growing up, and you see a Chinese kid and you say ching chong ching and all of that. That ain't happening no more. That ain't happening no more. Enough respect to the Chinese for understanding what needs to be done to be taken seriously as a people. Here we go. Ken Eccles with the prosthetic.
All right. So this is my favorite thing here, man. Being able to bring normality back to people's lives who've been affected by whatever means they've been affected to. This is an example of a prosthetic that can be printed. Simple, very simple articulation for someone that maybe has been amputated from the wrist on down, but still have some movement somewhere. This can be strapped to their arm, and it could give some simple functionality for grabbing or holding, or just even the process of or the thought process behind feeling normal. Having the.
Let's be clear, Ken. You did this yourself, right?
I didn't do the complete design myself, right? But I have other designs that I've done. But I've altered some of these things to be able to be used a little different, right?
So I'm saying this is the thing that you created this.
But I actually made this, yes.
Yes.
I did this from the ground, from scratch, yeah. So
right.
You see different types of materials that I've used and different.
You use some design templates and then you actually improved upon it. So you reverse engineered it. But that what you have in your hand is something that you created from your own lab.
This was made in my office with my 3D printing and everything else, and the nylon lines, and then even for what we can do to basically improve upon this, right? I did this. What's important, people, is I did this in my house.
With your 3D printer?
With my 3D printer and some basic materials. So that means that we have the ability to free ourselves on so many different levels, so many different layers, that we don't have any holes on us anymore besides the one that we put for ourselves. So that's the big takeaway. You know, when we can master these things on a level that I've done, felt self-funded, just like the brother Amobi, imagine what we can do when we have generations and a collaboration behind us, and what we can do for our people.
That's it, y'all. Look, you go to patahset.church, you go to info, email us and say that you are interested. And then once we have the courses available, we're going to let you know the schedule and all of that. But there is no, like, among serious people, this opportunity to learn all this information, there is no reason why you shouldn't have your children yourself involved in this. I don't care what religion you are in. We're not here to discuss religion and debate religion. If you believe in Christianity, that's fine. You're still welcome at Patah Set, because we're not about division of our people based on religion or national origin or what have you. What we're doing is we want our people to become competent people. And we're just using a spiritual framework to be able to do this. And so that's what it is. Amobi has shown you what he's got. Ken has shown you what he's got. And what we're looking to do, because we're not into centralized power, we're looking to download our brains into our people. So it's not about attacking one leader, right? It's about creating a million Amobis, a million Ken Echoes, a million Herus, a million Red Pills, a million Anthonys. They're going to have to come get us all. We don't believe in keeping the repository information with one person, so then when they come after one person, the movement dies. No, this becomes a cultural, spiritual framework where it is our standard of living forever, because the black box tells us these are our two deficiencies, and we are solving for the deficiencies of the lack of unity and the lack of technological prowess that we've been living with for the last 1,000 years. And to be completely honest with you, the level in which we have dropped the ball when it comes to being technologically dominant, it is actually a miracle that we are still on this planet, because we can be genocided any moment that these people want to genocide us. That's just the reality, y'all. That's just the reality. Whether you like it, you don't like it. If these white supremacists decide that they want to use their military power to kill all of us, they can do it. And so when we decide that we want to be able to defend ourselves, the bottom line is you can talk all the slick talk you want to talk, but what answer do you have when your enemy's got drones flying over your house? If you can't stop that, your conversation is a non-starter. Okay, so this is where we're at, and this is what we're dealing with as a people. We're using this approach for health technology, for transportation technology, communications technology, manufacturing technology, and we're going to solve our problems, and that's just what it is. Okay, those who like it, we're here for you. Those who don't like it, go to your other channels and go argue with each other. That's where we're at. Red Pill, do you have any commentary? You there, Red Pill?
I just want to say that it's genius what I just saw. I'm so glad that we were able to present to our audience and to the world that, you know, that we have geniuses amongst us, engineers amongst us, you know, thinkers that are not just thinking but doing. This is very important that we are actually able to witness this. I'm hoping that seeds are being planted by anybody that views this to take away the paralysis analysis that has stifled our community for so long. Because it seems that our people won't do anything until they see somebody that looks like us doing it. We have this weird game of catch up, you know, and that stems from the miseducation, that stems from us running on these faulty malware systems, to whereas we only see engineering and building through the eyes of either Asians or some type of other forms of people, and we don't see it through our eyes. So this is very important actually to see this in real time, and I hope that it turns some lights on. And what you're doing by building this network is very powerful. And yeah, the road to InvestFest has even gotten more stronger now.
Absolutely. And Brother Redpill, I know you had planned to leave at 10 p.m. and you still on. So I know you made a sacrifice to stay on because I know
Oh
you had
yeah,
some
I
things
couldn't
to
go
do.
anywhere.
Yeah, I
I
mean this
couldn't
is very
move.
important. And this is how we're doing what we're doing. So imagine if for the last 100 years our church services was based on scientific, mathematical, and engineering development as a pathway to understanding the mind of the creator, and that division is a sin. It literally is a sin under Patah Aset because you're going against the Aset activity of bringing us together. If we
We
had
are
that as a
gods. We
spiritual
are
precept,
gods. We
hello?
are gods. We can create. We are gods.
Yes, absolutely. We have brother Jaziel. He's an engineer too, out of St. Thomas Virgin Islands. I think he's working in the States. He's looking to tap in as well. But Jaziel, it says your device is not connected. So if you're calling in, feel free to call in again. We'll put you on. So here's where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen. The people who I am most interested in talking to is engineers. Engineers, I keep close to me because the engineers make the world go round. Have you hugged an engineer today? Have you befriended an engineer today?
Heru, we need a lot of hugs, brother. We need a lot of hugs.
Yeah, man.
You understand? Like, really, if I'm running a country, I'm having holidays for engineers. I'm having engineers be on all of the billboards on every block because the engineers are the ones who are going to save you from not having electricity, not having running water, save you from flooding, save you from. I mean, it's so serious that in the military they have the Army Corps of Engineers.
Right, right.
You understand what I'm saying? They're the ones who are dealing with the technology and the preparation of the land for the military. Engineers are necessary. Engineers are what make the world go round, literally. And if you don't understand this, here's the deal. Black people, we need satellites. We need satellites in space. We need a space program.
Yeah.
Okay, like don't worry, we're gonna get into this. I'm not trying to get on a soapbox, but I'm just trying to tell you that you should be very uncomfortable to see other people progressing technologically while we're not. It should be a very uncomfortable world to live in to see that other people got satellites and space. People are going to space, landing rockets, this and that, and we're sitting here arguing about Jay-Z and Beyonce. Okay? The adults have now entered the room. Okay? The adults are here. And any society that's going to progress is going to elevate its scientists, its mathematicians, and its engineers. Period. Let this become like the new hip thing. My son is going to be an engineer in some type of way. My grandchildren are going to be engineers in some type of way. Because that's the pathway to our liberation and our non-dependence as a people. Science, mathematics, engineering, deal with it or don't deal with it. But at the end of the day, people who are interested in being a powerful people deal with it. And you actually can see who's interested in being a powerful person. People who shut up and start doing math and science, or people who want to talk all day about superfluous things that don't matter. Real power is literally, what are you going to do when they got drones over your head? Do you have technology that can jam it? Do you have something that can deal with it, or you have something that can't? Because this person that we're dealing with, who colonized us and enslaved us, takes no prisoners unless they can profit from prisoners. So, you understand what I'm saying? Right. This is very, 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 very serious, and it's been going on way too long without us addressing what needs to be addressed. And I'm going to show you all something that I have here, and I want y'all to think about this. I just saw, I'm on X, and this is what I saw. It's about 1781. I'm going to say this right here. In 1781, I'm going to share this with y'all. And the reason why this was able to happen, and we can talk about all the atrocities, but at the end of the day, the atrocities are able to be done when people have superior technology over you. Okay?
Facts.
And Europeans were not united amongst themselves. They were amongst themselves, but they're united when it comes to us. they're what you call on code when it comes to us. When it comes to them, yeah, they'll fight amongst themselves. World War One, World War Two, the 100 Years' War, they'll do all that. But when it comes to us, they're unified. They're so unified that they got together and carved up Africa with no Africans being there, called the Berlin Conference in 1887. That's why today I call myself a Ghanaian. But at the end of the day, if a white man decided to make Nigeria farther west, I would be a Nigerian. That's just so arguing about, oh, Ghanaian versus Nigerian. Oh, Ghana is better than Nigeria. Nigeria, it's actually it's a joke.
Yeah.
Because literally, if European men wanted to make the border of Nigeria farther west, I would be a Nigerian today. That's just the reality. So check this out. You all see this? It says right here, in 1781, are y'all able to see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it, bro.
In 1781, over 130 enslaved Africans were thrown overboard from the British slave ship Zong. Why? So the slave traders could claim insurance money for their deaths. Okay, now this is what I want you to look at. See this black person being thrown over and this black person thrown over? They were most likely from different tribes, right? Fighting against themselves when they're in the same goddamn problem. What sense did it make if this person is Ashanti and this person's Yoruba and they fighting amongst themselves because they're saying that they're not the same people? Guess what? The person throwing you over the boat sees you as the same person, as the same people. They don't care about your ethnic distinctions that you have amongst yourself. They see that you black, they're gonna throw you over the goddamn boat. Now, think about how a person would have ended up in this condition. The only way someone can drag you from your home, put you on this boat in the 7 seas, in the high seas, is because they have greater technology than you to make this happen. So you're going to see a disunified people who decided not to actually unify together against this common enemy, and a people who were technologically deficient against the invader of the day. And you end up in this problem, and you in this water together, drowning, but you arguing about who's better than who. This is the situation we are in globally. We're being thrown over the boat, and what we want to do is we want to argue with each other. And this is why we keep getting thrown over the boat, and these folks are having fun with us and making insurance claims on our deaths. Okay? This was in 1781, and this is a metaphor for the Jamaican versus the Trinidadian, the Jamaican versus the American, the Black American, the Yoruba versus the Hausa, the Zulu versus the Koza, the whoever, the South American black person versus the Caribbean black person. How foolish do we look arguing amongst ourselves when we all being thrown over a goddamn boat by the same guy? It stops today, y'all.
And I feel that it goes back to the initial question about this fall. You know, I could have went to the fall of the Moors in 1491 and other things,
Grenada,
but
right?
the true division, I feel, from my generational standpoint, is the way that we were propagandized through the education system, through Hollywood, and all of these other institutions that just increase the divide. You know, movies like The Roots, and stuff like that from the CIA agent Alex Haley, you know, stuff like that. You know, a lot of propaganda was fed to both parties.
Yes.
It has caused a very unfortunate division, and people are operating off of malware. You know, their operational systems have bugs in it, so we have to focus on debugging. You know, it's almost like a parasite eating at us and keeping us stifled and whatnot. So I'm very grateful for the fact that we're moving forward with action. You know, the only thing that's really going to help this is going to be actionable items.
Absolutely.
And making sure that we don't get sabotaged from within.
Absolutely.
You know, and results.
You become a different person through behavior and actions.
Yes.
This is how we become, and we're going to have to become a different people because we have not been good to each other. This is the reality. When you start studying our history from thousands of years, we have not been good to each other. And we are going to stop all of that because we're working on projects together. Understand that the pyramids were built as an intergenerational projects. It took many generations to build the pyramids. And the baton was passed from generation to generation until they were built. This, what we're doing with Ptah is going to take generations, and we're going to be passing the baton to our children. They're going to pass it to their children. It is a change in who we are based on our behavior and our activity, as Red Pill has said. This is what changes us. And if you look at the metaphor of what we have in terms of the screen right now, we've got brothers from America, brothers from the Caribbean, brothers from Africa, working together and not talking about who did what to who don't like who, and this and that. We ain't having that conversation. We're moving towards technological advancement in unity. That is what the brotherhood and the sisterhood is based upon. And it's about us not being thrown over the boat one by one by a common enemy. Because what we're doing is, traditionally, it's very easy for us to grab the low-hanging fruit of fighting horizontally. No, we're going to be fighting vertically. That's how we're doing. We're not fighting horizontally. We're not doing any of that because the person who puts us in jail, the person who bombs our neighborhoods, the person who injects us with biological agents is not us. And if it is us, it's at the behest of the bigger power who's had technological superiority over us for way too long. And so we're about to have a competition, y'all. We're competing now. We have to be a competitive people. The Chinese recognized it. The Japanese recognized it. The Japanese had 2 nuclear bombs dropped on them. And their response was, we're going to reverse engineering everything electronic. And we're going to improve upon it. And that's why you have Japan as the economy that it is right now. And I'm going to end with this. At the end of the day, Red Pill, Ken, Amobi, part of the disjointness that we have as a people, and I'm going to say this right now, and this allergy that Black people in different parts of the world have to Africa, right? I'm not African. You Black like me. You got nappy hair like me, but you're not African, right? What they're really saying is, I don't want to be associated with Africa because we believe and we've been taught that Africa is the losing team. That's really what it's about. You can talk about all the mental gymnastics about delineation and this and that, and we're separating ourselves, and I'm not African, I'm always from this part, and but then when you take your DNA test, it says you're 80% Nigerian. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay. And then they'll say, oh, those DNA tests ain't real, that's white man's, you know, I've heard all of the mental gymnastics, but here's the real situation. If Africa, the continent, had the economy of Germany or Japan, all these Black folks would want to be African tomorrow. That's the bottom line. And so it's a reflection that we've got work to do. Because how can you look like me and say that you don't want nothing to do with Africa when it's the continent with the most Black people on earth, which means that you have been taught through some type of teaching that it is okay to hate and dislike and not want to associate with the majority of Black people on this planet, which means that you actually are anti-Black. If you don't like the majority of Black people on this planet, then you just like Jethro and Billy Bob. You might as well sign up for the KKK and the White Knights. If you're going to tell me that you hate a whole continent that has the most Black people on earth, then that means you don't like Black people. You don't love Black people. So that's just what it is. But I understand where that's coming from. Where it's coming from is you don't see Africa, the continent, as the winning team. That's where we differ. That's where Malcolm X differs from you. That's where Marcus Garvey differs from you. That's where all the great leaders of the Kwame Nkrumahs, the Patrice Lumumbas, the Queen Nannies, and all these people, they were about that unification. And the people who were against the unification were the goddamn snitches who stopped the revolts. Okay? And I'm going to say this to y'all right now. Those of you all who are about the division, whether you're on the continent and you're about division amongst black folks from the Caribbean, because there are people on the continent who've been miseducated to be propagandized to think that, oh, these black folks in America ain't African and these Caribbean people ain't African. And then the propaganda is on the other side. Oh, these black folks from Africa, they don't like us, forget them, and da da da. And all it does is sowing the seeds of the victory of our down pressers. And those people who cleave towards division, let me say that you all are a historical constant like the speed of light. There will always be people who love division amongst our community. And please understand that the people who are preaching division, they don't even get along with their own family members. They don't even get along with people on the block. They don't even get along with people in their town, right? And I'm talking about folks in South Africa doing this. I'm talking about folks in America doing this. I'm talking about folks in Ghana who have this perspective of division and tribalistic egotism. My tribe is better than yours, and we all got a white man's foot on our neck. We speak in their languages. We're using their money. We're using their economic system. We are scientifically deprived, economically deprived, mathematically deprived. Our children think it's okay to go to jail. We celebrate when we get released from jail, but we don't celebrate when we get degrees in science. This is all a setup for us to fail. And please understand this, and I'm putting all the people on notice, is that the people who are full of division, these are the people who divided against Nat Turner when Nat Turner was trying to unify everyone on all the different plantations. There was few people who snitched and went to the slave master and said, Nat Turner's doing this. He gets captured and he gets hung and tortured. Same thing with Denmark. These are the dividers in our community. You play a historical role. You all are the cockroaches of our history. Okay? Any black person talking about division, they are the cockroaches of our history. And what they're doing is they are fulfilling a historical mandate of E equals MC squared, where the speed of light is C is a constant. We're always constantly going to have people preaching division because that's how we ended up in this situation that we're in right now. Okay? And what we're telling you all is that it ain't working. It ain't working. Nobody cares about what you think you want to call yourself. It's about what other people call you and what they treat you as. No one cares about your Yoruba. The Chinese people don't care about your Akan. No one cares about your Wolof. No one cares about your Zulu identity. They see you as black and they see that you're technologically weak, so we're going to do whatever we want with you. No one cares about the fact that you're from South Carolina. White people don't care that you're from Jamaica. They don't care about any of that. They see you black. Oh, you're easy to conquer because you don't take scientific, mathematic, and technological pursuits seriously, and you all ain't unified. So it's easy for us to do whatever we want to y'all. Call yourselves whatever you want to call yourself. Okay? So this is what it is. This is Unification Central. This is science par excellence central. You've seen this. I have 50 more engineers on deck ready to do what we need to do in terms of education through spirituality. And that's just what it is, y'all. So this is the show for today. Go to pataset.church. I'm going to put the link on here. Go to info on the contact page and just say you are interested in what we're doing, and you will be updated when we start the courses. And we're going to have the donation button, and every single donation you make will be tax deductible. Okay? Every single donation you make will be tax deductible. So you are literally saving money by donating and having your children learn engineering and learning how to make a smartphone, learning how to make cars.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm gonna drop off because I got
Yep.
the clock. Okay.
Yes. So let me let you say the last word, Amobi.
Let me help you tame the black box.
Yes. Brothers and sisters, have you hugged a black engineer today? That's the question, because these are the people who are going to be up front. If we're going to survive as a people, our engineers have to take the front stance. Okay? That's the bottom line. All right, brother Moby. Enough love to you. We're going to get back in touch with you, and we look forward to having thousands of children and adults learn what you have to offer in the form of creation, making robots, phones, communication systems, because we never learned any of this stuff just to hoard it to ourselves. We wanted to learn what we learned to help our people. And so that's where we're at. That's the only reason why we do what we do. Or else I could have just been, wealthy lawyer somewhere, living on an island. Really, that's what I could have done with my life. Ken could have done the same thing and be a wealthy electronics engineer working for Lockheed Martin and building up these people's systems. Moby could have done the same thing for AT&T and all these communication systems, where we decided to become independent and use the knowledge that we have to uplift our people. That is what we're doing. Okay? And just understand that in every single group that you have, particularly groups of Black folks, there's always going to be agents of disruption, and you'll be able to identify them very quickly, because when we're given this type of information, their focus is not on building but tearing things apart. And I'm just telling you that these are the roaches of our people that exist in all different parts of the world. Whenever we got something good going on, they want to whisper dissension, division, and destruction. We know who you are, we know how you behave, and we know how to deal with you. Okay? So we're on this side, we're winning. We came to win. So, Brother Moby, thank you. And Brother Ken, we got a brother Carlos says, any welding advice, I'm available. And
That's perfect.
Yeah, you want to talk about that real quick, Ken, about welding?
Oh man, it's monumental. When we talk about even the continent and what we're missing for manufacturing, so Africa has never experienced its own industrial revolution, if you will, and welding is the key to that. Just to be able to do the basics. We talk about all these high level things, but we can't even perform or create our own basics, and we absolutely need that. So those trades, I respect anyone and everyone in those trades, man. I love those people. I love them.
Absolutely. Okay. And I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening. And we are going to keep doing this, and it doesn't stop. And we are
I'm
going
doing all
for
right.
real victory. All right. So the church website is here. Please understand what we're doing. We're raising money the way that people raise money. The richest institutions are the churches. We're going to use it for technological advancement. This is the website, pataset.church. Go to the contact page so that you're interested in enrolling yourself and your children in what we're doing. And we're going to compensate the brothers and sisters who are doing the engineering. And you're going to learn master's level engineering and math and science that we do. Remember that the Jews, what they do is they have their own version of Saturday school. They do their own cultural and scientific enrichment. Okay. It's not pataset.com. It is pataaset.church. Okay. Gloria is pataaset.church. That's why you're not able to find it. It's pataaset.church. Okay. So that's what we got going on, y'all. Hopefully that this was transformative. This was something that inspired you all. And please understand that we are here to win globally. This earth is ours, y'all. And we've been absent too long from the movers and shakers. And there's a formula to become movers and shakers. And we are addressing that formula today. Unity in technology. Okay. Someone has entered the studio named Sam. Let's see if Sam got something to say. You there, Sam? Are you there, Sam? I don't know if Sam was trying to come on, but you did come on, Sam, and we got you in there. So if you're not trying to talk, Sam, that's fine. Okay. So someone's saying .church server cannot be found. Well, A lot of people are on it. Just email me then at info@herbal-results, and let's see how we can get you on there. But it is the website. I'm on there right now.
Brother Heru, I'm gonna have to drop now.
Yep. So everyone who has to drop, please drop. Thank you for coming. Our priest engineer, Ken Eccles, our priest engineer, Moby Christopher. Again, let me just share the website for you all. You all can look at it. Someone
Thank
says
you.
that they're happy.
You,
Thank
Heru.
you, Ken.
I thank you, Heru, for the work that you do, brother, and I thank those that have joined us, all those in the audience as well, for their participation.
Mm-hmm. And so this is just something that I just want to throw out to people to understand where we need to go, and someone has to do it. So I just put it together, but I am not the leader. We are all the leaders. And what we're going to do is we're going to organize and centralize to a new understanding of what we need to do as a people to get to where we need to go. And it cannot be done without the mastery of science, technology, and mathematics, period. And this is the first time that some people are hearing these types of conversations on a serious level. We're gathering engineers, but this is Ofori-Atta.church. You all can see it. The website is up and running. That's it right there. Okay. You can go on the website and you can go to Statement of Faith so you understand the rules of engagement. Okay. It explains the story of Ptah, the story of Aset, why it's so important. And then what the rules of our faith are, what I can tell you is number one, pillars of faith. The mastery of science, math, and engineering brings you closer to the mind, wisdom, power, and intentions of the divine creator. On this pillar, Ptah is our perpetual inspiration. Number two, the unification of the scattered African diaspora is non-negotiable and brings us closer to the divine creator. There can be no rebirth or resurrection of our individual or collective spirit without the unification and remembering of our scattered global people. On this pillar, Aset is our perpetual inspiration. The earthly emulation, number three, the earthly emulation of Ptah, the masculine divine engineer, and Aset, the feminine divine rememberer, is the perfect divine duo by merging the masculine with the feminine. Their example and emulation, once and for all, solves the black box failure points in our history. In point number four, there are engineering solutions to all of our problems. Those are our pillars of faith for Ptah Aset. You go to our spiritual services. It tells you what our church services are going to be addressing. Spiritual workshops, engaging deeply with faith and scientific inquiry, community outreach, serving others through unified efforts and engineering solutions, educational programs, learning rooted in spirituality and science, engineering solutions, innovative design, serving the community, spiritual counseling, guidance for life's journeys and challenges, and cultural events celebrating our heritage and our unity globally. Okay. And then we'll have the live training page where you'll be able to sign up for the live training, and it is required for all members because you cannot just come to a lecture. No, you're going to. This is not about hooting and hollering and feeling a dopamine rush because someone said a great sermon. No, this is about the dopamine rush of learning technology, math, and science. This is what we're doing in terms of our spiritual growth. This is the donate page, and then this is the contact page, okay? But the first step is just to contact us, okay? And then send a message. And you can contact us through info@ptah-aset.church, okay? That's the main way to contact us. So we'll give you updates next week. We did cover the trading and the investing. It's going very well with the Ghana stock and MyStocks.Africa. It's going very well with the options tradings that we did yesterday of Intel and Microsoft. And so we've covered a lot today. Those of you who have still stayed on, we've been on for 3 hours. We've covered a lot. And so thank you all for tuning in, and thank you all for being serious. This is only for serious people. The adults have entered the room now, and this is the conversation that we're having, and this is what we're doing, and this is what we're dealing with. And do not pay any attention to any of the dividers or the dissenters. These are people that when a good thing is there, they still have something to complain about. We give them too much attention and let them die from being ignored. Okay? They are the cockroaches of our history. Understand that they're always going to exist. People who love dissension, people who when we have a path to freedom, they're still complaining. Okay? These are the people who hated Harriet Tubman, Black folks who hated Harriet Tubman for taking people off the plantation. They're people who want to keep us on the plantation. Okay? And they're just a historical constant. Like E equals MC squared, they are the constant. And they are the cockroaches of our history. They're hard to get rid of. Just don't pay them any mind and let's move forward, y'all. Okay? And any meeting that you have that's a public meeting with Black folks, you're always going to have dissenters because they don't even realize it. They've been zombified to engage in the age-old behavior of division, dissension, and confusion. They don't even realize that they've just been taken and put into that historical whirlwind. And that's just who they are. They won't stop being who they are. They love division. They love separation. They love losing, basically. They love losing, and they love cleaving to their white slave master. That's just what it is. Okay? So that's who they are. And who we are is a whole different set of people. We love each other. We live on the foundation of love. We live on the foundation of unity, togetherness, and strength through scientific, mathematical, and engineering prowess. So thank you all for tuning in. This is the type of time we're on. Red Pill, big up to you every single time.
You're done, though.
For the work that you're doing in terms of AI. I think that you and Brother Amobi would love to meet and have a conversation because he's in Atlanta. So we get to Atlanta, I'm going to exchange your information with his. So y'all can lean on each other because he's doing a lot of great work with AI and you are as well. And it's
definitely
just for us to form like Voltron, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Proud of the work that you're doing, Red Pill.
Likewise,
man. So thank you all for tuning in and bless up everybody.
Bless up to the audience. Peace, love, and light. We will link up for everybody that's tapped into Get Build. We will see you tonight. And I definitely look forward to seeing more people tapping into summer school because like the good brother said, we are having solution-based conversations, not just conversations, but demonstrations. And we're not talking, we're not spreading division. We're actually bringing people together off of results.
Absolutely.
So yes, that's where it's at. I can't pay attention to anything else but results at this place. Peace, love, and light.
And next week we're going to have a live prostate cancer reversal.
Yes,
with the brother that I've been working with for a year. Brother lives in, I believe, New Jersey. Brother from Trinidad. His PSA was 46. It is now non-detectable, 0.1. And he's going to tell his story. So if you've got family members with cancer, particularly prostate cancer, you're going to want to tune in next Monday because we're going to have a testimonial for y'all. Just like we had a testimonial last Monday, impromptu on diabetes reversal and kidney failure reversal. We're just showing improving all over the place. Who cannot love that? This is what I'm going to tell you, and this is what I'm going to end with. I want y'all to pay attention to this. Look what we've done with this show. Every week we're bringing value. We're showing people how to make money from the comfort of their home on Wednesdays. On Mondays, we're showing you how to reverse illnesses and giving you receipts on the reversal of illnesses. Week after week, we're doing this. And there's always going to be people who are going to find something to disagree with. So that means that you can reverse cancer, you can heal the world, and people will still dislike you. Think about that. Think about it. That's why you don't listen to the detractors. You don't listen to these people because their historical role is to cause confusion. You can show people, you can solve world hunger, and you're going to have people within our own people still dislike you. There are people who are watching this show right now, and the only thing they took out of this was, oh, you saying something about FBA. I'm telling you, we still delineating and this and that, because that's all they got out of it. We're showing people how we can make prosthetic hands for people who've lost their limbs. We're showing people how we can make our own smartphones, how your children can become engineers, how your children can become top scientists. And the only thing they took from it is something that might have just rubbed them the wrong way. And all the 99.9% goodness is out of the window, and they focused on one thing that they disagreed with, because their whole platform is to magnify differences and division. And that's all they know what to do. They don't build anything. They don't solve any problems. They're just agents of chaos. Be able to recognize them right away, y'all, and give them no quarter. because they've been at the forefront of our people for much too long. The forefront of our people must be unity, people who promote unity worldwide amongst our people, and people who promote technological, scientific, and mathematical advancement. If it's not about that, it's not about anything. I'm saying that to y'all. And y'all seeing week after week, I'm showing reversals in cancer, reversals in this, and there's still going to be people who got problems with me. Okay? So there's nothing you're going to do to please these people. Just recognize them and know how to shut them down. They are the cockroaches of our history. With that being said, those of us who are serious and adults, salute to you. We're going to keep doing this perpetually, forever. And we came to win. Winners talk a certain way. Losers talk a certain way. Be able to recognize who they are. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your days. We'll be back on Monday, prostate cancer reversal. We'll be back next week, checking up on our stocks and our options plays and the money that we're making in our sleep, that one day we'll all meet and laugh on the beach together. Bless up, y'all.